Hey everyone, welcome. So today we're going to be working on a couple of fun things. So I am starting a new project, but first a little bit of stream news. So thank you all so much for following me, supporting me, and etc. As of Wednesday, I believe Wednesday's stream, I qualify for the Twitch affiliate program, which is kind of cool. So I've only been doing this for a couple weeks, but yeah, I now have a subscription button. I will try and get some emotes. I've got a couple of friends who are artists. Maybe get some funny Go related emotes, something like that. Clearly, no expectation here. To be clear, I'm not doing this as a source of revenue by any means. I am doing this because I want to share my knowledge. Oh, hey, my first subscriber. Thank you so much, Dominic, for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Wow, that's super cool. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so it's been cool. I've only been doing this for a couple weeks, but clearly it's going pretty well. So I'm quite happy about that. Oh, hey, Foxboron, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime subscription. I appreciate that as well. Yeah, folks. So if you have a Amazon Prime account, you do have a Twitch Prime sub you can use every month. That being said, if there's any streamer you like at all, I would recommend doing that. It's a very cool thing. It's basically free money. It's free money for streamers and everything like that. Support folks who do this for a living and etc. Again, I have a full-time job, but I do appreciate your support. So thank you so much. So yeah, very exciting. So today, the reason I am on the full screen camera as well is this. So some of you who are following me on Twitter may have seen this is a Novation Launchpad. Oh, cool. I spread them out over several streamers I watch. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, so this is a Novation Launchpad. This is the Mini Mark 1, so it's 5 or 6 years old. And I bought this because AV sync seems off for me. Weird, is it me? Things seem okay here. So I noticed yesterday I was watching a stream and it seemed like Twitch would desync every once in a while. You might just want to refresh your browser really quick. I don't know. As far as I can tell, everything on my end is pretty much okay. But anyway, we have graphonographs now, so we can check those in a sec here. I'll show you all. But so today my plan is to work with this, the Launchpad. So I have been writing a program, and I will show you all what it does. But let's just run it really quick. So I built a Go program that will take the Launchpad, and every couple of seconds, it's got Go routines that are filling the screen with different colors the Launchpad can create. So this just has red and green LEDs. So you can create combinations of like red, green, yellow, orange, basically. So what I have here is this is just writing, filling the screen using certain MIDI commands that the Launchpad accepts. And if I press buttons, it will turn off LEDs randomly for every button I press. And it also indicates which button you're pressing by lighting up red. So this was kind of my Hello World program, basically, trying to figure out what exactly I could do with this device. So, I wish it's kind of funny. I had a second webcam, but I ended up giving it to a friend, but maybe I will see if we're going to keep working on this sort of thing, if I could get a webcam mounted like over here so we could like have the Launchpad on screen as well. In the meantime, I'll probably just pick it up and show you all like full screen like this. But yeah, so let's look at the code for this and show you all what I'm working on. So kind of right, full screen. There we go. So I've got this Go program running here, and this is my new project I am starting called flightdeck. So essentially the idea for this project, I'm going to pull up the GitHub page. So GitHub, MD layer, flightdeck. The goal for this project is, so if you're familiar with what an Elgato Stream Deck is, I'll just show you all. Stream Deck. So this is a pretty cool device. Basically, it is a small interface for things like streaming. You can use it for doing things like controlling OBS, changing scenes, turning lights on and off, etc. This is super cool. The thing is these are $150 and it has 15 buttons. So it seems maybe perhaps a little expensive for what it is. So it occurred to me, I have this Launchpad that has been sitting in my in one of my shelves now for 5 years. I bought it 5 years ago for maybe experimenting with Go. And just realized, like, hey, I'm streaming now. It would be super nice if I could have it so that I could press buttons to do things like, perhaps change my OBS scene. I've got 8 different scenes here. Perhaps I am getting the Elgato key light, which is like a Wi-Fi controlled light. So I'll be able to change like the lighting on my desk and stuff like that, as well as integrating other things. We can basically make it into like a big soundboard. But this device, has, so we've got an 8x8 grid of like LEDs as well as these buttons on the side. So what I'm thinking is we can kind of build our own like Stream Deck type software, and that way folks who have things like Launchpads or other MIDI controllers or really whatever could hook these things up in an extensible way to control programs like OBS and really whatever else. So certainly it's definitely going to be an ambitious project. So right now the only hardware I have is the Launchpad Mark 1. I understand there is now up to the Mark 3, the Mini Mark 3, as well as lots of other ones, but I hope to essentially make a program that is extensible enough that folks can plug in whatever they have and use it for doing things like controlling streaming software and etc. So yeah, why not spend $70 on a MIDI controller and then build my own software that gives me more power than something like a commercial solution. So I think this will be a lot of fun. So what we have so far, I basically have the bare bones of a Git repository, and I've got a program running here. So this will show you we detected a launchpad MIDI, and whenever we press an input or an output, whenever we press an input, you'll see the coordinates of the input and then whether it's on or off. So we actually get an event for every press and release. So if I keep doing that, you'll see something like that. So very cool. I will show you all essentially what I have so far. So let's go into VS Code. Right, so this is the flightdeck repository. Right now, the flightdeck command is just a basically hello world. I just wanted to create the repository skeleton. Go ahead and remove that. So now we also have the Launchpad demo application. So the basic idea is here, we have this internal Launchpad package I wrote. So it is worth noting that JBD actually wrote a Launchpad package several years ago. It uses the port MIDI C bindings. And for whatever reason, I've had lots of trouble with port MIDI on this machine. I'm not sure if that's just me or Linux or the Launchpad or what. Excuse me. But I found the Go MIDI project, and Go MIDI supports different interfaces as well. So there's this RT MIDI driver that actually seems to work quite well for me. So I'm going to keep using that. It looks nice to control instances of a service you manage, where the lights can be errors on services that you send to a control, where you can restart the instance, troubleshoot, etc. Yeah, totally. So like you could use this to like, it's kind of funny. I was thinking, right, like in addition to having things like a stream controller, I could have it so that like, I do a Prometheus query and it shows me kind of like a graph on here in real time. Or yeah, you could like look at, systemd services and like check the status of different services and stuff, So this Launchpad doesn't have like, the one thing the Elgato has for it is it has like LED screens on each key. So you could actually have like an actual image and stuff. On these, it's just lights, but I think that could still be pretty useful. Nice idea. Those controllers are quite cheap. Yeah, totally. It's just kind of a funny thing. Like I have this sitting around and I was thinking about buying a Stream Deck and I realized like, it would be a lot more fun and I think educational to build one. And I suspect I'm not the only person who wants something like this. And I have seen similar projects, but I think that my goal here is to do more than just the Launchpad and more than just OBS. So although those are the primary use cases, I think that we could really make something very cool with this. So my goal is to basically build this up and start a community so folks can contribute things like support for different hardware, be it MIDI controllers or whatever else, as well as, different inputs, outputs, service controllers, things like systemd units or OBS or, Elgato Keylight hardware, like all kinds of things. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a really good time. So the program I have here today basically just shows like what it takes to control a Launchpad. So first we have context cancellation piped in with a signal, because what we want to do is we want to clear the Launchpad LEDs when we shut the program down, because otherwise the LEDs are just on. If you kill the program while the LEDs are lit, they will remain lit until the computer is powered off, is I think. And that's not great. I don't want to burn out the LEDs in my Launchpad just in case, so whenever the program's not running, they're all turned off. Cool. So we open this RT MIDI driver and we call this find Launchpads function. So the way that this Go MIDI library exposes things is you have sets of inputs and sets of outputs. And I want to associate each input and output, figure out if they pertain to a Launchpad device. So basically, real quick, looking and seeing if the word Launchpad, I don't know where the name constant is, the word Launchpad is in the string definition. I suspect there's probably a better way to do this, but this seems to work okay for now. And then in the case of RT MIDI, the device number matches as well. So I will see that an input and an output device have the same number, so that corresponds to the same physical device. So the goal is that you could have even multiple Launchpads or multiple different controllers. So if you wanted to have 6 of these things all plugged in, you could do that. Is there some way one could print labels for the keys, like some transparent sticker for printers? Don't even know if that exists. Yeah, there probably is, honestly. Yeah, a transparent sticker would be definitely what you want, because you want to be able to see the lights and everything. I suspect I will probably have some kind of cheat sheet, or maybe make it so... going back one sec. So at the top of the Launchpad here, the top and the sides, we have these buttons that are labeled like 1 through A and then A through G or something like that. And I think essentially what we could do is make it so that each of those individual menus controls like a different thing, right? So like 1 could be for streaming, 2, menu 1 could be for streaming, menu 2 could be for this. Or you can make it so you could have any number of menus. Like my goal is to make this extremely customizable. And then perhaps offer some common configurations so folks can like import a config and just have something working. So we detect every launchpad device we can find. If the MIDI device does not indicate it's a launchpad, we return this launchpad error device, skip it, move on. And then once we have actually found all of the launchpad devices, we will start the routines for each. So we create Go routines so we can run multiple of these concurrently, and we call this run loop. Within run, we want to get a list of all of the inputs and outputs, or the events happening on a launchpad. So when you press a button, the coordinates of the button are received. So this is what I was showing before. When you... Oh yeah, I was going to... I had a silly little banner set up with Figlet, but I forgot to run it because I was doing the demo program. Anyway. So whenever I press a button, you'll see I'm pressing the origin right now, on and off, different buttons, and you'll see the coordinates actually change. So what we have here is we are generating a channel and listening for inputs on the device and sending them over a channel. That's what this events function does. So once we have that channel of events, we will pass that to the writing routines, because the writing routines will use this to write different outputs to the display. We continue doing that until we receive context cancellation and we shut down. So here is the main loop. Essentially what we do is, let's see here. Let's go to the writing portion first. So hey, thank you so much. Hey, good to see you here. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. What was I saying? Yeah, anyway, so this is pretty cool. So essentially we are iterating over the different possible like color constants I've created for the package. You can do up to 127 different color combinations kind of, but these are kind of some of the more obvious ones I found, like various shades of like green, orange, yellow, and red are what my launchpad can support. Some of the newer ones have like full RGB, so you could do like blue lights and stuff like that too. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'll probably end up buying one, but for now I have this. This will work fine. So we are filling the device and then waiting for every 2 seconds to change to a new color or for context cancellation. And we're going to show how all these routines work because it's pretty cool too. Oh, very cool. Long time no see. I figured I'd peek in what you were doing, go for a walk, going to work on some synth stuff for the rest of the afternoon. Nice. Yeah, so I have this this Launchpad. You're probably familiar with this device. I've had this for a number of years, and I decided I wanted to do something with it. So we're going to be working on a project today that interacts with the Launchpad, which should be pretty cool. So whenever I receive an input event, it gets sent on this channel, and as long as there are inputs being sent, we will print them to the screen. We will light the thing. We will light the key that was pressed with red, and then as soon as it's released, we will turn it off. And whenever an event is triggered, so a key being pressed or depressed, we will take 16 random LEDs and turn them off. So this way you get kind of the cool effect I was showing where... One sec. So of course this is just like a demo application, but you'll see the screen is filling. The screen will continue to change colors, and whenever I press buttons, LEDs will turn on and off. And they'll all keep being filled, and you can see that they turn red when I press them and they release. So we've written all pure Go code to do this. It is using like C Go bindings underneath, and it actually seems to work just fine. All I had to do was install libasound, so the RT MIDI driver seems to work pretty well, which is cool. So this is the demo program I have so far. Basically, I just wanted to see the kinds of things that I could do and start building my own sorts of APIs. Again, JBD had some code that did something very similar. I ended up finding the Launchpad programmer's reference, used her code as some inspiration, but ended up doing it with Go MIDI instead, because it seems like the Go MIDI project is being pretty well maintained, and it supports this RT MIDI driver that seems to work a lot better for me. Oh, cool. Okay, so stickers do exist. So yeah, like a transparent sticker would be very useful for this sort of thing. So perhaps I will have something like that. Thank you for the link. I appreciate it. Let me bookmark that. Okay, cool. So now that we have kind of discussed the high-level APIs, I want to show you all kind of what I've written so far. So today we're going to be probably writing some tests for this and such, but I have created this Launchpad package, and the basic idea is the Launchpad, I guess I can pull it up, right? One moment. Let's see here. How can I pull that up without... All right, start a new terminal. Pull that off the screen so I don't have to bother you all. Let's see here. And I'll pull it up down here. So I found this Launchpad Programmer's Reference that actually gives me all the information you would need to interact with this device. For some reason, this document for the Launchpad 1 was pretty hard to find, unfortunately, so I ended up just having to Google around until I found this. It seems like they take the old manuals offline, which is sad. The basic idea is the Launchpad supports 3 different MIDI operations, so a note going on, which is when you press the button, note off, which is when it's released, and the controller change as well, which is for doing things like operations such as clearing the entire Launchpad or special operations. This thing has a lot of pretty cool features, actually. Like, some of the newer ones can do things like actually showing text, like ASCII text, which is awesome. But mine supports some pretty basic operations, so that's what I've done so far. So I went through this document and found out how to do things like, okay, when you set a grid LED, you can do that by, you send the note on message, and you calculate the coordinates using this formula right here. So 10 hex times the row plus the column. You can set like certain coordinates and such. So this document was quite useful for me for figuring out what I had to do to make this all work. So going back here, yes, we have a few different operations we care about. Things like turning a note on, turning 3 notes on. That's another MIDI operation, and this actually lets us fill the device in a rapid way. So instead of having to iterate over every single square, we can fill it 2 squares at a time, which is a lot faster and actually has less of a delay for the user. So for somebody who's looking at a Launchpad, like, you won't notice it like flickering as much. We have things like color combinations here. So this is, again, the Launchpad Mini Mark 1, only has red and green LEDs. So we basically have things like various shades of red, various shades of green, and then mixing them together. And there's a couple of control constants as well, such as the copy and clear bits. These let you do really fancy things where you can essentially buffer an entire set of inputs, write them to the device, and then flip the device all at once. So I have not implemented that yet, but I suspect that could be pretty useful for complex outputs. So this is the device type. It is composed of a MIDI input and a MIDI output, which are both Launchpad devices. So we detect if the device is a Launchpad device by right now just checking the string. This seems to pull some metadata from the device using MIDI or something like that. I don't know the details, but it works okay for now. I suspect there's probably a better way. Like, if there was like a vendor ID I could look at, that would be great, but I don't know for sure yet. I'm not a MIDI expert at all. We open each of the input and output channels, and then we reset the device immediately. So in case there were any LEDs on before, we totally blank the device, and in doing so, we also reset some of the internal parameters. So you can flash the LEDs, and you can change the speed at which they flash. So when you issue the reset command, it will set all of those parameters back to the defaults, which is probably sane. Close, so I guess what you'd expect, we reset the LEDs and then close the inputs and outputs. Fairly simple. So the listening thing and then the events channel thing are where things get a little more interesting. So the MIDI drivers have this set listener, like a callback, and if I understand, this is passing a pure go callback into a cgo function. So cgo will actually invoke this from the RT MIDI library every time that an event happens. So when that event happens, we are running in a function such as this. So each input from the device gives us 3 bytes, which is something like a key being pressed on or off. We decode that, so we check and see if the button was being pressed, which is this 0x7f or 127 in decimal value. We look for things like the controller change messages. So the top row of buttons is controlled by a different set of commands. So essentially, I've made it so that the top row of buttons is represented as another set of coordinates on the grid. So y equals 8. But otherwise, for standard buttons, we can actually unpack the coordinates using the formulas from the programmer's manual. And then we take all these events and put them on a channel, so the consumer is able to read these on the fly. So for this API, we take that callback, we attach it to the set listener, we run a go routine, and then when the context is canceled, we will stop listening and close the event channel, so that way the caller knows that we're all done. One sec, I'm going to move a window around. You don't see anything. So as far as writing to the device, there are a few different kinds of commands supported. So I have this low-level write wrapper, so it seems like every command here is a 3-byte array. So I'm using this array of 3 bytes type because that way we don't have to worry about like bounce checks and such. So when you write a command to the device, it accepts something such as note on. So we use the formula to figure out, given an X and Y position, we want to send this note in the MIDI terminology. And then doing that, we are able to light a specific coordinate on the grid, and we can also specify a color, which is one of those constants up above, or you can make your own. So for y equals 8, again, these are slightly different. The top row is controlled using the controller change messages instead of note on, and the formula is a little different as well, but it still accepts the same colors. So the filling operation I talked about, if you take the... Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining. If you take the device, so what you could do is you could iterate every x and y coordinate and fill up the entire thing, but that's actually fairly slow. So what the programmer's manual recommends you do is you invoke this 3-note on with color color, and if you do this 40 times in a row, it will iterate over the entire grid, and it can fill the entire device all at once. And in order to leave that mode, we have to specify a different command. So I do a kind of a no-op light on the origin with the same color, and this forces the device back into the normal mode so it can accept different commands or do things like fill with a different color. Finally, we have reset. So when we want to reset the device's internal parameters and turn off all of the lights, we specify controller change 00, and we're done. So this is the code I have so far. Basically, this is all on the magic number 40. Yeah, that was something from the programmer's manual. Yeah, I agree. That's a magic number. I would like to document that a little better, actually. Let's go take a look at that. Can I put this on? I think I'm going to want to have this on the same screen. Oh, shoot. So I guess what we can do is come up here. We will open another Chrome guest instance because I don't want to show you all my bookmarks and tabs and stuff. Where did it go? Oh, shoot. That would work just fine. So the problem is I can never remember the keyboard shortcuts for this kind of stuff. New window. New guest window. There we go. Okay. One sec. And now we have the PDF, and we can have it up here in this browser, which will be useful. So, let's see here. Where is rapid LED update? Yes, this is what we were looking at. That's where he keeps all his magic numbers. So let's see here. So all 80 LEDs can be set using only 40 consecutive instructions without having to send any key addresses. So this does come from the manual. I don't know why. Well, hang on. So yeah, 80 LEDs and it lights 2 LEDs at once. So that's why. Oh, cool. Hey there. Can you give a 1-sentence recap of what you're going to use this for? I understand it has to do with your stream setup. Yes. So my goal here is to take this Launchpad device and kind of do like a DIY Elgato Stream Deck of sorts. So we can do things like pressing a button to change OBS scenes. You can press a button to change the Elgato key light I'm going to have. You could do things like display the health of your systemd services. You could integrate this with pretty much whatever you want. My goal is to make a super extensible kind of Go daemon that uses various like controllers like this for inputs and outputs. But we could also hook up different devices, right? Like if you have like a MIDI keyboard, I don't see why not. If you have like a little LED monitor or something, you can use that as like an output only device. So the goal is basically to, yeah, kind of like DIY Stream Deck is kind of what I'm going for here. So I hope that helps. Clearly, I just started this project, so I don't have... Cool, okay. I just started this project. I don't have anything like hooked up to OBS yet, but I have ideas for how it will work. So what I have so far is just some playing around with the Launchpad because I wanted to verify that the idea was even feasible. So now that I have like a high-level Go API and I can actually do things like read inputs with coordinates and write different colors, I think we're at the point now where we could start potentially building something like this. So, yeah, cool stuff. Excuse me. Yes, exactly. So OBS WebSocket to control OBS maybe. Yes, that is exactly what I was looking at as well. So there are, for example, you can do like a Go shared object, which then can be consumed as a plugin from OBS. But I think I am going to, yes, use the WebSocket mode because I suspect that would be a lot easier in Go and also be a cleaner integration point. Have you ever had trouble with OBS Preview? Tried running OBS the first time yesterday. It worked at first, but eventually Preview was always just a black window. Couldn't Google a solution. Yes, that same thing happened to me and Dominic as well, actually. Frankly, I have no idea. So I had better luck with it when I turned off. So I'm running 3 displays here. So I went down to one monitor. So I turned off my vertical display and my right display. And I made sure I was in X11, and then it worked. And then for some reason, after I did my first stream, it's been pretty much fine ever since. So honestly, I have no idea. I could send you my OBS configurations possibly, but I'm not sure that would help. But I am using the latest version from the PPA provided by the OBS developers for OBS Studio version 25.0.8. So likely a monitor configuration thing. Yeah, it was super weird. I would try that. I would try turning off all but one monitor and see what happens, because I think that it was perhaps getting confused by like the geometry of the X server or something. To be clear here, I'm not at all an expert, but that is kind of the area I was speculating in. So yeah, I don't know, unfortunately. So now that we have this code and it works, if anybody wants to see the, oh yeah, no problem. If anybody wants to see the demo at any point, let me know. Otherwise, in the meantime, I think we are going to probably start writing some tests and such. No black screen issues with the Arch package, but I have normal rectangle geometry. Yeah. OBS WebSocket also has the added feature of allowing OBS to run on another PC. Yeah, totally. So I think that would be super cool too. So I think the WebSocket is probably the way to go. So yeah, I saw that module and I was pretty excited about that. What is this? So some kind of Amazon link. Okay. APC Mini. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why, as long as something like this just outputs like, typical MIDI signals, we could write some kind of input-output thing. So if you have one of these, like, I'd love to collaborate, you know? Oh, right. Yeah, so Dominic mentions, my solution to this bug is to edit the config OBS Studio global ini and remove the geometry setting in the basic window section. Do that every time before starting OBS, and it breaks the moment you resize the OBS window. Yeah, that's so strange. So it was doing that for me, and it totally stopped. So I have no idea. Let me see. Let me take a quick look at that file locally and see if if there's anything unusual about it. Oh, so there's like a whole encoded geometry string in here, so I'm not sure that would do you all much good, but huh. Yeah, I mean, year of Linux on the desktop, right? To be honest, I think that more things work than people think, right? Like, there are lots of folks who think you're crazy for doing stuff like this, but I'm sitting here streaming to you all on Linux just fine, and aside from the first stream, things have been great, so. Oh yeah, so before I totally forget, well-written software tends to work well. That's true. Before I totally forget, I wanted to show you all, so I actually did set up the OBS Prometheus exporter and build like a small dashboard. So I want to see if I can share a screenshot with you all or something like that, or a snapshot rather. Yeah, cool. So I don't know exactly how this works, but let's see if we can share. I wonder if I can like permanently share it somehow, but the problem is current time range. I guess for now we'll just make this expire in like 1 day or something like that, but cool. So I can show you all what I have so far as metrics and such. So I'll drop this link in the chat too. Hey, Taryn, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime subscription. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've got 3 subscribers. To be honest, I really don't expect folks to subscribe. I appreciate it if you would. But to be clear here, I have a full-time job. I do not need the extra income. I am doing this because I am here to have a good time. Kale, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub as well. I appreciate that. Sweet. Support folks like Dominic. So, for example, Dominic works on Static Check. Like, I highly recommend, if you're not sponsoring Dominic on GitHub already, definitely do that. Like, do that before you subscribe to me. But thank you for the Prime subs. I do appreciate it. So I shared a link in the channel. We will try and get some emotes as well. I have friends who are artists. I think we'll get some funny Gopher emotes. Yeah, exactly. I should have done it before the stream, but subscribe to MD Lair for the memes. Thank you. Yeah, so I have a OBS dashboard. So we can see right now we are outputting 30 frames per second to both encoders. We can see the levels of my mic, the average time to render a frame, the output data rates for both the FFmpeg local stream as well as the RTMP to Twitch. Looked like for a second I had some frames lag out, but yeah, pretty cool. Oh, very cool. So I would suggest doing as another streamer I follow does. 100% of money made through the stream goes to charity, with her matching it from her own money. Her day job's working for GitHub. Oh, very cool. That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea. Or perhaps I could, make sure I put it back towards, other folks in the Go community and such, like sponsoring development for folks like Dominic, Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely think about that. Yeah, because as mentioned, I really don't need the extra money. I appreciate it, but, do what you want to do, right? I needed that sweet founder badge. I guess I don't know how that works. Yeah, so check out the dashboard. I don't think this will keep updating live, sadly, in the Snapchat, which is sad, but cool. So let's go ahead and write some tests and such. Yeah, I can see founder badges on several of you folks right now. That's pretty funny. I did not anticipate having subscribers, so thank you. I can steal some of the emotes from Gopher Slack. No, I'm not gonna do that, but. Right, so what's cool about these MIDI in and out is they're actually both interfaces, so it should be pretty easy to test these. And actually, the MIDI program, the Go MIDI package comes with like this test driver. So let's see if we can write some useful tests here. Launchpad test.go. Gotta have the. You definitely need wound. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. So I think it's like I think my prefix is like MD lay H maybe. So I was thinking it'd be really funny if I had like MD layer like error and it was like an error check emote or something like that. Like that'd be pretty silly, right? And so relevant for this community. Yeah, I wonder if I could get my full name. Maybe for affiliates you don't get a chance to customize it, but that's the prefix it gave me. You should do that. Yeah, I think I probably will. I have a couple of friends who are artists. I mentioned briefly on Twitter yesterday that I made it to affiliate, and people immediately started sending me shady DMs and such. So I suspect this is a pretty common. I don't know. The whole thing struck me as very pushy. So I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm gonna wipe that news, and we'll talk about that on stream. And I've got friends who would rather have make emotes anyway. So see if I can help some folks out who could use some extra income. So let's see if we can test a couple of these things. So func test open. Test device open. Open's fine. Right. So the MIDI package, Go MIDI. So I was reading a blog about streaming advice, and if anybody is watching in a dark room, I sometimes flip back and forth between my dark code editor and my light browser tabs. I apologize in advance. I will try to do my best to let you know. I am going to be switching to Google Chrome in 1 sec here. I apologize if it blinds anybody. Oh, it's still the dark window. It's going to be bright in a sec here. For real, though. Okay. So we need to go to Go MIDI test drive, I think. Yeah. So this is like a testing driver implementation that we can actually use. So I think we're going to see if we can get started with this. That way we don't have to write our own like mocks for all this stuff. It'd be kind of silly, right? So just test drive.new. Okay. So we create a driver, and we need to iterate the inputs and outputs. So drv. Launchpad test. Does this return an error? It does not. Okay, so we have a driver, and the driver gives us lists of inputs and outputs. So we have, so now that I'm looking at this again, I wrote this function called find launchpads. I think we probably want something like this moved in the package, right? Because given a driver, you should have the ability to, look up launchpad devices without having to do this manual loop iteration yourself. That's kind of gross, right? So let's move this into the package, actually. Open. So should this return open to device handles? Like, do you always want to open all the device handles? I guess at the moment when you call the open call, you pass in a MIDI input and output. I don't know. So let's write a bit of code and see what happens. So devices detects and opens handles to all launchpad devices attached to this system. I feel like that's probably okay, right? Is there any scenario where you want to iterate the devices but not necessarily open handles to them? Trying to think. Well, yep. So we're going to create a slice of pointers to device. So for now, we're just going to assume that if you're calling this, you probably want to iterate all the devices and get handles to each of them. So seems good. Open. Sponsored on GitHub. Hey, nice. Yes, sponsor Dominic. Please do. Like, Dominic makes such amazing tools for all of us. If you are not sponsoring him, definitely I recommend doing that before you subscribe to me. Let's see here. Yep, this code can continue working pretty much as is. Okay, so, wow, that was easy enough. So now we can remove that from the main. For the time being, let's open up the terminal again. Where'd it go? There we go. I should clear that. OBS geometry information. We're going to swap out the function really quick. We'll save that for now. We're going to swap out the find launchpads function because we added to the package here. So we're going to have devices. So looks like the GitHub UI is eventually consistent. Yeah, cache is going to cache, right? Launchpad devices. Sweet. That's quite nice. Yep. We got a launchpad. It lights up. Everything still works. We're good. It's kind of funny now because now that I have this working, and in theory it should support multiple devices, I kind of just want to go ahead and buy a Mark III so that way I can also test it with different types. That being said, I don't think I will ever need 2 MIDI controllers for like streaming, right? I mean, this thing already has a ridiculous number of buttons, and I can make it so that each of these like iterates through different menus. Like this software is going to be, my goal is to make it so that you won't really need more than one device. But hey, maybe if you were a very serious streamer or something, I'm not a very serious streamer. I am doing this to have a good time. Cool. Okay. Main and terminal launchpad. Yep, this seems fine to me. Hey, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. It's so funny because there are folks here who I know their real names, but perhaps they don't want to be mentioned by a real name on stream. So I probably should stick with Twitch nicks, I think, just in case. Hey, Large Data Bank, enjoyed your stream yesterday. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. You're making me want to stream some work on my MIDI player. Yeah, do it. Honestly, if you're interested, if you want to start streaming in about maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes, then I would be happy to throw you a raid. Well, yeah, I mean, your real name, so you can say my real name if you want. Yeah, your real name is in your Twitch name, though. I mean, MD Lair, like, you can call me Matt. I'm very obviously Matt, but if there are folks here who are using, different aliases, like, I will probably try to be respectful of that, But, yeah. Let's see here. Internal Launchpad. Add devices function to enumerate launchpads. I like enumerate. That's a cool word, right? So, now that we can enumerate all the launchpad devices, we want to... No. People are so used to my nickname, I regularly get called Fox between friends, which is weird for people outside of the IT community, I reckon. Yeah, maybe. I mean, so it's so funny. I did marching band in high school and college, and in college marching band, all of the tuba players all had nicknames and such, and it got to the point where, like, you didn't necessarily know people's actual real names. Like, just, they had a nickname and that's what you called them, So now that we have a driver, so defer driver close, we will see the devices. Devices air. Launchpad devices, drive. Failed to fetch devices, and I'm actually pretty sure this won't work. I think the test driver does something slightly different than RT MIDI, so I think that my number matching will not necessarily work. I can tell how you know me by what you call me. Yeah, totally. Like some folks, I always thought it would be kind of funny, right? So I think there was a little bit where, like family members were calling me MD or something because my initials are MDL for MD Lair. So I was like, it'd be kind of funny if I like went somewhere, like you move somewhere totally new and you're like, oh, call me MD. And how strange would that be? I had a friend in college, actually. There were several Chris's who all came into school at the same time. And this one guy's like, well, there's, too many Chris's, so just call me by my middle name, Evan. So everybody from his like previous like life and high school and stuff called him Chris. We all called him Evan. And it's very strange to hear people call him Chris. So Most of my friends are still mostly their IRC nicks to me still, although few active on IRC anymore. Yeah, totally. It's kind of funny how something like that follows you. Like, people don't really call me MD Lair in real life, or maybe they do in like conversations, but you know, I go by, you know, I'm just Matt. It's fine, but MD Lair is cool too. I mean, what's cool about it is it's available on pretty much every platform, so I'll always know that you're talking to me. We need to get the... Here we go. Where is it? Internal Launchpad. Most of my friends at university just called me CM. Yeah, I bet. No Launchpad devices found. Oh, right. Yeah, because the test driver is not going to return Launchpad devices. So I think we already need to write our own driver implementation. Okay. Well, what's cool, I suppose, is we can steal some of these methods. Or we can make it so that we bypass the checks because we know these devices are plumbed in together. I don't know. I think we probably want... I think we could probably use the test driver for... Actually, hang on a sec. If I put Launchpad in the name of the device, will it work? I think it might. Launchpad test. I'm cursed with a not very unique IRL name. Nicks are hard to find. I have a wide variety of bespoke, slightly different nick variations on my name. Or maybe it's blessed, not sure. Yeah, you know, it's funny. There are folks who have, like, you know, different names in every platform, and it always confuses me. I'm MD Lair pretty much everywhere, and I'm thankful for that. But it definitely would be harder with, like, your name, or, you know, I know people who are like... I know a Michael Miller, right? And like, how many thousands of people have that name in the real world, right? It's wild. My nick was unique enough for a long time, but then Twitter and Twitch were taken, so YX for my 2-letter domain it is. Also, YX is T and Finnish for number 1. Nice. When I met up with people I know from Twitch gaming community, it was weird. Everyone called me Terran, but I wasn't sure what to call them, real name or Twitch name. Yeah, I think a lot of streamers and such generally call each other by like their streamer names. But I don't know. Failed to perform reset EOF. So this is working now, but the device is EOFing when I write to it because I'm not reading from it, perhaps. I think this is going to be one of the idiosyncrasies with the test driver. So let's see what happens if we comment out the reset. I would default to streamer gamer name at a streamer gamer event. Yeah, totally. Okay. Wow. Test pass already. Cool. Okay. So the device appears to have the same name, the same number. Yeah. So everything except for resetting does not work. Now, I think that's because we're not listening for any inputs yet. And I think that what happens is this test device will, anything you write to it is read as an input on the other side. So, maybe we should make this a optimistic reset, right? So maybe this shouldn't return an error. Like, if possible, reset the device, but assume that, you know, maybe... and error not equal IO EOF. Right. Let's see what happens with that. I think it'll work fine. It's so funny. So I think I mentioned this the other day too, but we've got more folks here today. So I had some friends watch my streams and they were making fun of me for not knowing the keyboard shortcuts and such. So I actually ended up printing out the VS Code Linux keyboard shortcuts. I learned a few things already, which is cool, but I don't know. I kind of have a bad habit of not learning my tools to the best of my ability, you know? Like, I just more so want to get work done than learn a tool. But cool. Optimistically reset the device, but don't worry about... Don't return an error if the device indicates EOF as the test driver devices do. This is Twitch, so Alt F4. Maybe comment why EOF you won't work tomorrow. Yeah, totally. Yep. whenever I have like a special case, I'm always, I think I tend to be pretty good about like documenting stuff like that, because I agree. Like it drives me crazy when you'll see like a very subtle change with no documentation, and it's like, why? You know, just write something down, like for yourself, for other people. Like it's important to me that my code is understandable by other people, you know? So cool. So this seems to work. So this is going to be test devices. So given different drivers here, we're going to have, so we can parameterize this with a table test. So test devices, given a driver, which is going to be a MIDI driver, either return, You wrote the comment before you saw my comment. Good. Yeah, I'm pretty good about stuff like that. I'm trying to think here. Is this really an error case if there's no Launchpad devices? Like, I feel like it should be up to the caller, maybe. Although I guess if you're invoking Launchpad devices, you would expect at least one, right? But maybe it's not. I mean, nothing to do. Yeah, right. No devices found. Nothing to do. Sorry for the code coverage. I sometimes forget to turn that off, you know. So, we're going to parameterize the test driver here. We'll make it so that, oh, I just copied and pasted in. Right. So, oh, I'm silly. Okay, there we go. Name. Launchpad device. Maybe export error type for no devices. Yeah, I was thinking about something like that. So right now I have this, I've got this error device that says device is not a launchpad. Maybe something like that too, but I don't know. Like I feel like, right, like the fact that you enumerated the devices and didn't find any launchpads is not really an error. It's more so it's just, you know, you just didn't find any, like nothing happened, nothing went wrong. But also returning nil is kind of weird. I think I'm going to leave it like this for now, but it's something to think about for sure. But this also means we need to change our main now, actually, so. We can just, yeah. Seems fine. Because this error device will, if you try and initialize a launchpad using random MIDI inputs and outputs, like for a different device, like there's some kind of synthetic MIDI controller device or something that appears first, at least on my system. So if you try and initialize a launchpad with that, you'll get error device. I think in that case, an explicit error is good. Yeah, empty list is probably good enough. Either way, caller needs to handle the case, which is safer. Yep. Yeah, the caller should be prepared, so we can document that as well, right? So if no launchpad devices are detected, and empty, nil slice, and nil error will be returned. So now it is totally on the caller. By the way, so right now this is just under internal launchpad. I think I'll probably put this in its own repo because I suspect this would be pretty useful. So maybe we'll do that at the end of the stream today. Generic MIDI. Right, so the devices we would expect is going to be a slice of launchpad device. I guess the tricky thing is here, well, we don't actually want to compare against the inputs and outputs because it's these weird unexported types, but we can look for things like strings, like substrings, which kind of stinks, but it'll be okay. We'll survive, you know. So whenever I get into this test, I think I need to, so first we defer closing the driver because we're going to be done with it. And then it's kind of weird, right? I guess we're opening the driver and then closing it in the test. Build this up here or something, right? So make a block of variables. Cool. 24 viewers. That's pretty good. Thank you all for hanging out. It's super fun to do this kind of stuff. You know, I hope I didn't get folks too excited, like thinking this project was further along than it was. But I think what's also cool is that instead of doing something like CoreRAD or WG Control, where I've already done a lot of work, we're going to be doing a lot of work for this on stream, which should be a lot of fun. So thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it, you know, and I'm always happy to accept, you know, feedback. If you have things you'd like to see or things that are not clear, you know, please do let me know. So now the lifetime of these will be scoped to the entire test versus just the test case, which is probably saner. What is not compiling here? All right, really quick. Let's go back to the old terminal. Things bigger. 34. Am I missing a comma somewhere? I think I am. Expected expression, line 34. Semicolon found brackets. We've got a misplaced bracket? You have an extra comma. Oh, do I? Right here. Line 37. Ah, yeah, sorry, that was silly. Yep. Thanks. One of those silly things, you know, sometimes the Go compiler gives you like these vague like expected expression, and you know, I've tried to like, you know, read through the Go spec and understand stuff, but you just tend to forget like the semantics of things. At least I do. I don't know. I do not consider myself much of like an academic, right? Like I am very much an engineer. Like I enjoy building things. I don't really consider things from the academic perspective or like the programming language theory perspective, but that's just me. Launchpad devices given a driver. Failed to find devices. And we're going to do a comparison, TT devices against the devices returned here. So unexpected devices. Yep. Test devices redeclared in this block. Ah, right. Cool, there we go. So now we'll see we have this Launchpad test. Oh, since I saw Stoppelberg here, did you discuss we might see live cutting together or you already complete what you wanted to contribute? Yeah, so I'll look at the font size in just a sec. So Michael and I don't think we've talked about anything since then. That being said, I would be willing to do some projects. I don't think we've talked about it yet, but it sounds like he's setting up OBS, so perhaps we could, yeah, perhaps we'll make that work. So we haven't discussed it yet, but I'm definitely open to doing so. Thoughts on making the editor text size as big as the terminal text size? I'm pretty sure, I could have sworn they were, to be honest. Yep, no further discussion. Yep, Michael's right. So monospace regular, size 20. Is that just because I'm using a different font? Monospace regular. Right? Oh God, no. No. Make it stop. I had a coworker once. Who coded in a variable width font, and it literally drove me crazy. It was unbelievably bad. Serif coding, baby. Let's go. No, thanks. Yeah, I don't really like ligatures either. So I guess I feel like this VS Code size is okay. Tried variable width font for a good minute. Yeah, no thanks. I feel like the VS Code font size is okay. Let's see if I can make the terminal slightly smaller. Would that be okay? Rob Pike seems to enjoy it. Reset cause, you know, this to help. Shoot. Let me just tweak this slightly. So I think that's closer. If possible, I would prefer not to make the text editor size any bigger because I think that we would get to the point where it would be difficult to have 3 things open side by side. Let's see here. So that is the most I would do. The most I would do is something like this. Yeah, I know. I want the editor to be bigger, not the terminal to be smaller. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's see if we can... the thing is, I just want to make sure I can preserve this. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, no, I understand. I'm going to try to accommodate here. 22. How is that? This seems... Yeah, I mean, we don't do three wide pretty often. But how is this? Is this better? I could probably deal with this. Let me update my notes really quick. It's great. Looks fine on my iPhone 5. Cool. I will note that, and we'll fix the terminal size too. I can read the screen in another room. Well, aren't you watching on a TV though? Hey, shouldn't you be moderating? We have some unruly... Looks great to me. Okay, cool. Yeah, you know, I think I'm... As I've mentioned a few times, we'll change this back to what it was. As I've mentioned a few times, I think I'm a little spoiled because I have 3 4K displays, so I am used to having lots and lots of text open. But that being said, I understand that it is important that viewers who are not on 27-inch screens are able to read as well. So I am happy. I need coffee for moderating. I am happy to accommodate. So thank you for letting me know. At first I wasn't sure if you were referring to the fact that the terminal sizes were, or the font sizes were different, or you just wanted to be bigger. But yeah, I think it's time for a quick water break, and I actually might get a little bit of cold brew as well. So I'll be back in a sec. All right, we're back. Oh man, I lost 5 viewers. Wow. Apparently I'm not allowed to take breaks, huh? Just kidding. Yeah, I had to get some cold brew. You know, priorities, right? It's a beautiful thing. I don't know if you can really see it. Yeah. Cold brew concentrate mixed with half that volume in water and then some ice. Perfect. So actually, I'll show you really quick my... I'm going to switch over to Chrome again. My apologies. Bright screen incoming. There we go. What's it called? Let me see. So if any of you are coffee folks, which I imagine you probably are, I have been making cold brew exclusively for the past couple, I think at least a year now. So I bought this, yeah, a year and a half ago. Okay. This is a pretty cool little device, kind of. Here we go. So this is a cold brew pitcher. So what I do is every couple of weeks, I will take basically half a bag of coffee, grind it up. You put it in the center filter thing. You add cold water, and then what I do is I shake it up every couple of hours. So I let it sit on my counter for 24 hours. I'll take it, I'll shake it up, stir it up really good. And then when it's done, you pop out the middle, you dump out the grounds, and then the grounds all come out with the filter, and you have a pitcher of cold brew. So would recommend. I know there are folks who insist on doing things like, grinding coffee every single day and such. I like cold brew because I get to grind it once a week and do the work once, and then I have coffee available anytime I want, even in small doses. So I can measure out, 40 milliliters of coffee or something for the afternoon. Like, I don't need it. I just want it, right? So would recommend. Is this, I wonder if this snapshot is updating. It is not. That is sad. I suppose I could, we can pull up the metrics a little later. Remind me and I'll pull up the dashboard again. I wish I could make it so the snapshot would continue updating for a certain period of time. That would be nice, right? That's me every morning. Drink 6 to 8 cups a day, but only black coffee, no milk or sugar. Have never tasted the cold brew I like. Yeah, so I think I like cold brew because of kind of the intensity of it, right? Like it is an intense experience. It's definitely, it packs a punch, which is great. I drink my cold brew using pipettes, good 5 milliliter to get the day started, then maybe another 2 milliliters in the afternoon. I mean, you laugh, but I actually do measure by the milliliter because I want to make sure I'm not like doing crazy amounts of caffeine. You drink it cold, black? Yes, I do. I like black coffee is the only thing I like. Don't like many cold brews except the one I make. Yeah, cold brew is amazing. I've never liked coffee with milk or sugar. I've never gotten into that. And wow, I was already feeling pretty good. Now this coffee is hitting me, and it's like, all right, here we go. Let's write some programs. This is gonna be a fun stream. We're gonna be here 12 hours later. I'm gonna have 0 viewers, just still going. Right. So I think probably what we want to do here is check for the stringified version of each device, which stinks, but I think that's gonna be easier than trying to do the type assertions for unexported types and etc. Well, actually, I could assemble. What is a device? Okay, an in, an out, and a wait group. No, I don't think I want to do that. We've got the string method. I'll probably just call that and assert on this output. Like, it's silly, but yeah, what are you going to do, Devices is going to be an array of strings. We don't expose the devices in a more convenient way at the moment, so we're going to, let's see here. So string slice is make a slice of strings that is length 0, capacity this, iterate each device. The string. Unexpected devices, yeah. So TT devices against the string slice. Oh, I did learn how to use multiple cursors in VS Code. You all be really proud of me. Ready? Hello, world. Oh, world. Right? Isn't that like some serious like pro stuff? It's one of those things I always like kind of wanted to figure out how to do, but I just never like thought about it. But now that I have this cheat sheet, can do that. Right. So for the launchpad, we will expect a device string that looks like this. We can even steal it from the brackets, which is great, or steal it from the backtick quoted version, which is great. So, yeah, it's just the one string, right? Yeah. Okay. And otherwise, it's going to be empty. Well, I guess we could make it so that it's nil for well, I don't know. The whole empty slice versus nil thing is kind of a nuisance. I feel like there is a compare option to like paper over that difference, but I don't exactly remember it at the moment. Also, so if you like whiskey, Knob Creek would recommend. We'll probably end up talking about a lot about things like beer and whiskey and stuff too. I'm a big fan of both. Beer, whiskey, coffee. My life kind of exists in a fine balance between all of these states. Keyboard shortcuts are the best for multi-cursor editing. Command-Shift-Alt insert cursor at the end of lines of selection for me. Oh, okay. I'm not sure which is the better, nil or empty slice. I mean, this is just like, for the purposes of like this test, it's probably okay, but like, I what I guess could do is if there are no devices, I make it nil. I mean, and that way... And that way I don't have to have this. Like, I think I prefer that, but... For easy, 0 value comparison. It's difficult to... one sec. Append, len, cap, or a lot of nil slices. Yes, exactly. Why am I even... Yeah, I guess why am I even doing the efficient thing in this test, right? It doesn't matter. It's a test. So would this allow me to get rid of the special case? It does. Yeah, we'll do this. For now, it's difficult to... it's properly structured information about MIDI devices, so just compare the string outputs for ease of testing. Why does it even matter? Today I learned that static checks tests use greater than 6 gigabytes of memory to run. That's great. Well, hey, my machine's got 64, so I can rent you out some space if you need it. It's always so satisfying when you run, HTOP on a big machine. Like, ready? Yeah, look at that. I guess the colors in HTOP are a little weird, but yeah, we got 64 gigs of RAM, 12 physical cores, 24 with hyperthread. 4.6 load average. Ha! OBS, you make me laugh. You make my Ryzen CPU laugh. I admit this machine is probably overkill, but actually I'm glad I built it this way now, especially now that I'm streaming, because I have lots and lots of headroom for doing other stuff. Running them at work is awful. I can't see anything until I disable the bars. Yeah, on some of the bigger boxes for sure. I mean, shoot, we're at the point now where AMD is offering CPUs with 64 physical cores and 128 threads, and I assume there are multi-socket configurations for Epic Rome as well, which is pretty sick. So, yeah, that'll do. So, that'll do for now. 2 sockets for Epic, yeah, cool. I know some of the older Opterons used to have, I think they had, quad socket configurations, but not anymore. Cool. I'd definitely love to see 256 bars. Yeah, me too. Or the first time I saw a coworker at an old job run df-h, and it showed a 2 petabyte volume, I was, blown away. That's so cool. I just saw LGR build a computer using one crazy, having 128 threads in a desktop PC. Yes, it is wild. Yeah, the Threadripper 3990X is insane. Threadripper seems super cool. There are a couple folks who are, have been debating it. If Dave Anderson is ever around, he was, talking into it, but that'd be pretty cool. I feel like now we should probably test. Well, we've done some of the basics. We should probably start trying to test some of this other stuff. And I guess I should be a good citizen and ensure that we close all these devices too. I want to write tests for the actual MIDI portions and not just this boilerplate kind of, but I feel like we should get some test cases where we verify some of this stuff. Hello. It's kind of funny waving to a webcam, right? But it works. Oh, I think this would be same case, optimistic reset. And error is not equal to IOEOF. So I guess actually what we could do now is verify that when we open a handle to each device, we were able to close it as well. I do have this error T fatal F, yeah, which adds an error check for me, but it doesn't work as well for the inline error declarations. Failed to... Was it possible to have too many cores so top won't start because it doesn't fit to one screen? I don't know. I actually have never really gotten used to top, to be honest. I know it's the super old school, runs everywhere utility, but I always have just had HTOP available, so I actually have used top only a handful of times ever. Cool. Okay. We should test the other stuff, the reads and writes for sure. So we need to test, let's see here. I have no idea how this is going to go. I know that the MIDI testing stuff will, let's bring this full screen for a while. I know the MIDI testing stuff will kind of point the two devices at each other. So for example, if I issue this light command, we'll be able to read it as an event. Oh, there we go. Hello, my Jinxie. I mean, we said the same things on that stream the other day. Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember. That was funny. I was confused for a sec. I was like, are you talking to somebody else? I mean, I can't. I don't see the list of usernames right now, so I'm not sure who all is on. But oh man, I'm bleeding viewers. This is no good. Just kidding. I thought I disabled all of my. I don't know. I'm getting notifications about people buying whiskey, which is exciting, but never look at stats while streaming. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know. I'm just messing around. To be honest, like I'm just thrilled that like people want to watch it all, you know? Like the fact that we've got folks who want to come in here and watch and hang out is great to me. So I appreciate it. I know I can actually click on the stuff and like hide the stats, but hey, nice. Lithium, thank you so much for the gift sub to Large Data Bank. Nice. Very cool. First gift sub in my channel. It's so funny. It cracks me up. Like I watch streamers do this all the time, and now I'm doing this as well. Yeah, PogChamp. We'll get some emotes. I will talk to my friend. We will get some emotes for sure. We're gonna get some silly Go and Gopher themed ones, I'm sure. So test device read write. You all are distracting me. We might start a hype train. Yeah, hype trains take a lot of subs, right? Like I hope you all don't I don't know. Do what you want to do, I guess. But yeah, so I guess we can pipe together. So events, C, air. Lithium, thank you so much for the subscription. I appreciate that. So we want a, let's see here. So func test driver T testing T. This won't actually need a T, will it? I guess it seems kind of silly to abstract this away. Now that I think about it, we can just keep copying it for the time being. The problem is I don't want to keep typing this string. I don't know. I guess it's fine. MIDI driver. Because we need something that's recognized as a launchpad device. So, return. Nope. Nope. Test driver. Okay. Test driver. And we need to open the device. So, let's see here. So, func. Test device. T testing T. Given a driver. So, given a driver, we want to, let's see here. We could use T cleanup here too. That'd be great, actually. So, driver is the test driver. We can enumerate the devices, or just go ahead and open. We'll do devices again because it enumerates things for us. So we will devices error colon equal launchpad devices. You know what I should do is I should make it so that you can hook up so you can use a real launchpad for integration tests for this. That'd be pretty cool too. Launchpad devices with the test driver handle. Error T fatal F failed to get devices. This is going to be T helper because we don't want this in our stack trace. So I feel like my VS Code to complete is really, oh, that's probably why. I was gonna say I feel like my VS Code completion is really broken, but I think those are because there was a syntax error. So we would expect exactly one device from this. So if len devices does not equal 1, T fatal F. And there I am writing an app in Angular and Python. I'm a Go trader. Hey, that's okay. I mean, the thing is, use the best thing for the job, right? There were plenty of, perfectly great applications for stuff like, Angular, Python, etc. Like, I think that Go is very good for the stuff I like to do. But that being said, like, there's tons of options, Unexpected number of test devices. We'll do this. I don't like repeating stuff like that. Yeah, I do C# at work. Oh, cool. Okay, C# is actually where I started my college programming. My school taught C# for 4 semesters instead of Java. Or I think they did C++, and then they did C# for 4 semesters, which was my semesters, and then they did Java ever since. So I learned C# instead of Java as my OOP. thing. So when I got to Java, I totally hated it because it was just kind of a worse version of C#, you know, at least in my opinion. T cleanup. Definitely rather learn C# than Java. Yeah, C# had some really cool stuff. Like the link stuff is wild. It was really, really neat, actually. We close the driver. We close the device. So D equals devices 0. Return D. So we're using the new we are using the new API from Go 1.14, the T cleanup. So instead of having to return a closure now that cleans this up, we call T cleanup, and anything within this block will be executed whenever the test is done. So we close the driver, close the device. It's great. Don't mind Java. It's gotten way better in the last 5 to 10 years. Yeah, I'm totally sure. I mean, to be honest, like I just don't know enough about the ecosystem. I guess in my mind, I'm bothered by when I was doing it, like you couldn't really do it in Vim. Like you kind of needed like an IDE and all that stuff. And it just felt heavy. It felt heavy, you know? I think those were really my biggest gripes. But that being said, I have not given it a fair look in at least 5 or 6 years. So every programming language definitely has its merits. You know. Should we check these? Nah, we don't really care. We'll just say we don't care. Definitely heavy. You're not wrong. It still has streams and lambdas and stuff these days. Oh, it's pretty cool. Cold brew, goodness, love it. So, test device. So we're going to open a stream of events from the test device that will run until the context is canceled. So context with cancel, context background. Always defer cancel because you can cancel twice with no bad effects, but you don't want to drop the cancel function. I'm pretty sure static check will remind you. Oh boy. I remember my college internship where I had to use a Vim plugin that drove Eclipse in the background to work on a project. Yeah, I think that sort of thing is kind of what bothered me, right? You know, that said, I don't know the state of things. So from what I understand, lots of alternative JVM languages have popped up. Things like Kotlin. Kotlin actually seems pretty cool. I don't really know much about JVM. I have never done like any kind of like closure or stuff like that, or Scala, but I think it's pretty cool. Eclim, like Eclipse Vim. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask her to, you know, I just don't have enough experience, honestly, with that kind of stuff anymore. Open events. So now we will I think what we can do now is, now the device is listening for events, we want to write events to it. So we're going to simulate like key presses, simulate pressing buttons on coordinates. So we're going to need to create a Go routine to do that. Error group.group. I like error groups because they make error handling simpler. I really hate error channels. I feel like it's just, it gets messy quick, and you have to do things like making sure you're consuming it the right way, and etc. I went to ClojureCon once with a friend as an excuse to go to Portland. It seemed interesting, and people seemed to genuinely like the ecosystem. Yeah, totally. I mean, like, I think it's, you know, I think it's cool that, you know, programming languages like can have like, you know, healthy, thriving ecosystems of folks who are so passionate about them, you know, like. And that's why I try not to. There's this thing in our industry where people love to hate on stuff, right? They want to be in the camp that is right and hate on everything else that does not match with their expectations. And I feel like that's just a really unfortunate mindset. So I try my best to not get involved. Scala has over 400 keywords. Go has 26 or something. Readability is very different. Wow, I had no idea. What would all those keywords even be for? That's wild. We want to probably light, yeah, we're going to light virtual LEDs. So let's do one to start. So D light 5.5 launchpad red high. I might have become a non-elite boomer or something, but I actually love IDEs these days. I used to be a Vim purist, but I've lost my illusions of self-grandeur. For me, I'm more productive in an IDE, so I use it. Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I mean, I used Vim for a number of years, never got good at it. I like VS Code. I think it actually satisfies the perfect balance of IDE light for my needs. I'd happily switch away from Emacs if any other editor or IDE came close to its customizability. Well, for Emacs users, there's no help for you. there's no saving you from that. Just kidding. Don't worry. So we're gonna go routine. We can't. Oh, we can actually just return an error, can't we? Return error. Format error F. Failed to light LED. Yep. And now we should see events. So let's see what happens. So if I understand, one of these days I shall write my own Emacs. Every programmer eventually writes their own editor. Yeah, I've got several friends actually who've written their own editors. I have no interest. That problem is not interesting to me, but I think it's pretty cool. I have a friend. Let me show you all really quick. This is I'm sure there are other folks, but my friend Sam has a text editor written in Go. He's been developing for literally years, which is extremely cool. So, bright tab coming up. I apologize. So he calls it Vidar. It is a Go editor written in Go using GXUI. This is pretty cool. Does he have screenshots? Yeah, he's done some pretty cool stuff with this. I will drop a link in the chat. The day I'll stream, hell will freeze. Oh, come on, Dominic. I'm sure people would love to watch static check stuff, but yeah, pretty cool. Very cool problems. So I think we're at the point now where we should have tests that... hello? There we go. Uh-oh. Are things just hung? No. Yes, things are hung. There we go. So control / will send a sig quit, and you can dump Go routine stacks. It's super useful. Also hate talking. Do not articulate my thoughts. 2-hour stream of pure silence. Fair enough. I'm actually surprised at how natural I've kind of found this experience to be. It really hasn't been bad for me at all, but that doesn't seem right. So we're listening for events and we're sending one event, but it's like we're not ready for it, or it's getting... Oh, you know what? I'm guessing I'm probably dropping it. Let's see where the... Let's see what's being printed here. So log print line event B dash test.run dash test.v dash test.run test device read write test divide read write. Hey, there we go. Oh, sweet. Okay. Is this just is this Flappy? It might be. Oh, it's just not exiting because okay, cool. Yeah, that's what we expect. So we are simulating a key press and seeing it pop up in an event. So how do you feel about Delve? I think Delve is very cool. I don't think that I'm... It's something I should learn how to use more. I think it could be quite useful, but that being said, I tend to write code that I believe, in my personal opinion, is well factored enough that I can often test individual sections that are problematic without having much trouble. In like a large production application, it might be different. Like, so for example, what Jordan was streaming yesterday working on Cockroach, I imagined that with so many interconnected pieces, it could potentially be more useful to have like a debugger in that case. But for me, like lots of the applications I'm working on are, small self-contained like little pieces or libraries. I would be curious, I mean, maybe for example, like Jordan or somebody else here has, used Delve with great success. For me personally, I have not found it as necessary. Printf debuggers represent. I just printf when I go, but it's a habit from pre-beta times. Yeah, totally. I do love Delve, but only if printf fails. Yeah, I would be. I should learn. I should learn more about Delve. That could be a fun thing to do a stream on, maybe. Equals 0, less than 5, I plus plus. I. And then we will cancel the context once the go routine writes its messages, and that way we can break out of this events loop. And that will also close the events channel. So Delve has also gotten way, way better. It used to constantly crash, miss breakpoints. It didn't have function evaluation during debugging, which believe it or not, is a pain in the butt. It's quite advanced these days. Yeah, totally. Had to use GDB on Go once. This was before Delve to catch memory corruption caused by Seago. Yikes. That's fun, Dominic. Seago is fun. Yeah, Seago is definitely fun. I think that, like everything, it has a time and a use case. So, for example, this MIDI stuff, like the driver for that is all Seago. I don't even know what it would take to do MIDI over USB in Go. And I have no interest in kind of doing that myself. But, yeah, I mean, Seago is valuable. It's a valuable tool, right? Go compiles so fast, the benefit for a debugger is small when you can just dump vars. Yeah, true. I had to use GDB on Envoy in production without symbols. My side project of reverse engineering suddenly came in handy. Yikes. Sounds like a lot of fun. Is this flap? I see it's worked fine, actually. I was concerned this would be perhaps a little... Oh, I should probably pass race, shouldn't I? Is it dash race? Yep. Sweet. That's perfect. Very cool. Okay. So I think probably what we should do is go up to 8, because if we go up through 8, we will hit the special case, or 9 actually. If we go up through 9, we'll hit the special case where we light the top row of buttons. You know what's cool about this is I could actually make it so that if you have I could make this so it runs the tests on a real launchpad. But the problem is that, for example, lighting the pads would not generate events that would be red. You'd actually have to do it yourself. Like, I would have to light the pads and then, like, press those buttons or something. So, a cool idea. Maybe we'll have some kind of light integration tests or something. Like, you know, press 5 buttons now. I think that would be probably helpful. You know, that could be kind of cool. So now we're hitting the special pass where we have the controller change row, and we are also decoding events from the where is it? Controller change. And we're also lighting stuff in that top row. Sweet. Yeah. Beautiful. So I guess we could... Do we care about inspecting the raw bytes, or do we just care about getting events, right? I mean, I feel like probably just checking the events is fine, because we're verifying kind of like a round trip through the system. I think that's probably useful. So what we will expect is launchpad events. Got equals append got with e. Jordan, if you're still here, I yesterday, you know, when we were talking about cameras and stuff, I started looking up things like the Elgato Cam Link and et cetera, and it's like, oh, this is going to be such a rabbit hole, you know, because I've got this Logitech webcam, and, you know, objectively, I think this is fine for streaming. Like, it's not like I'm doing like a ton of stuff with this view, but it could be so much prettier. It's a bad rabbit hole, not worth it. Yeah, totally. It's pretty entertaining. Oh yeah, it's funny now. So I in this scene you can actually see like the wall of beer and such, and I've got the whiskey closet behind me, but in my cropped view, things are a little more tidy, you know, very professional. 1K plus later, you have a pretty picture. Yeah, true. Well, I've got the Elgato key light on the way. I can show you all that is too, because we're gonna integrate that with this project. So, Elgato key light. I am buying one of these. This is a expensive network controlled light. Seems kind of unnecessary, but the thing is that don't fall into the trap. Yeah, this is probably a little unnecessary, but the thing is this room doesn't have very good light, and especially at night when there is no sunlight. Like the side of my face tends to be kind of dark. I have a light over here, and I've got these overhead lights, but they don't work super well. So I want a light behind my desk. So the key light is what I'm going to use for that, and this can be controlled through an app and etc. But I am going to make it so that Flight Deck can control this, so I can press a button here to like raise or lower the intensity or change the color. So that is one of the first things we're going to do with this. Is when I get that key light, we're going to hook it up. We're going to see if we can. I guess let's look really quick on GoDoc. Let's see if there are folks who have Elgato. Oh, somebody wrote a Stream Deck API. Interesting. That model looks like one of my friends. Maybe it is, honestly. Yeah. So somebody wrote a Stream Deck API. Okay, that's kind of cool. Stream Deck, all that kind of stuff. Okay, maybe not. Maybe nobody's done Keylight yet. They have not. Sweet. Actually, it's kind of funny because I was actually secretly hoping that nobody had done it or that I could like find a problem with it so I could write my own, because I think it's fun, right? Like we're gonna find out the network protocol for this device and do it ourselves in Go. And that's going to be really fun. That's going to be a fun stream too. So hope you're all excited for that sort of thing. I will, again, probably do a little bit of discovery on my own beforehand, but then I'll plan on doing most of that on stream. And I believe that package is going to arrive. One sec. Expected by May 20th. So if we do a stream next Saturday, we'll probably start playing with the key light. And then if we can get a thing working, hopefully by that point we can get so like Flight Deck can do something really silly, like press a button and the light turns on. That'd be super fun. I should see if I can get a second I should see if I can hook up a webcam for the Launchpad too. That would be good if I could have this like right above me on the stream UI or something. We'll see. So cool. What was I doing? Oh, right. Tests. Always tests. Right. So for every event, we are iterating a coordinate on the grid, and we want to verify. So, I suppose we could do this. Launchpad event. Oh, I guess I could do it up here, right? I could capture this. I'd have to use a mutex. I could do a channel. I want to capture these coordinates, but I guess we don't really need to. I mean, if we do that, we're going to add like concurrency and locking and stuff in here, and we know that it's going to be 00 through 88, right? So we can just build a quick little thing that does that. So it's less than 9, I++. That's max equals 9. I like constants. Constants are good. Launchpad event. Right, so want at I is, I guess we can just append. So want equals append want with a launchpad event, which is going to have x at I, y at I, and then a color. Oh, no, there is no color, right? What kind of message is it sending? I guess we'll check in a sec here, but so diff want got unexpected events captured. Unexpected captured events. It passes. So it's not sending key presses, is it? It is sending, hang on one sec. Log printf for sent plus v e. So every event here is being sent as if the button was being released. Okay. So false, false, false. Cool. Easy enough, I guess. I think we're going to want to write another test. This kind of verifies that like the round tripping functionality works, which is great, but we're going to want to write other tests that verify things like applying the byte sequences properly. Test device read write round trip. Or test device round trip. That's fine. So, let's see here. Light II for every across the grid surface to produce launchpad events that we can later verify because the test driver pipes writes into reads. Yep. Zero, zero, one, one. Build the expected sequence, etc. The test driver sends all. What is being sent? Oh, I think it's probably sending the. Is it sending the color here? I think it probably is. Right? I think it's probably sending the color. And the only thing we're looking for on is B2 equals button press, which is 0x7f. Interesting. The occasionally, once in a while, OBS is getting mad at me if it takes over 25 milliseconds to render a frame. I feel like it's been mostly fine before that. We've only missed 8 frames the entire stream. So that's not bad, I guess. Maybe I needed to tweak my settings a little bit more, but we could check the dashboard, right? Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep blinding you all, but can I do this without? I mean, I guess I could just show you all my Grafana. I don't really care, right? So I've got a Grafana instance. It's got credentials and such on it. I guess it's an auto-generated password anyway, but I can hide it really quick just in case. Anyway, cool. So here we go. So this is Grafana running at my house. This is the dashboard I have for my OBS stats. So we can see right now we're outputting to a couple of different places. We have the RTMP output to Twitch. We've got the FFmpeg output to local file. 30 frames per second. We are occasionally lagging a few frames, but not many. Data rate's looking pretty good. Constant frame rendering time is jumping up and down a little bit, and you can actually see my microphone levels too. So pretty cool, right? So real-time dashboard of what is happening on the stream. So pretty awesome. And this is generated by the OBS Studio exporter that somebody wrote. One sec. Let me find the link. OBS Studio. There we go. Underscores. So this project is Bright tab coming up. This project is pretty cool. So if you are, for folks here who might be messing with OBS or similar, check this out. So basically it builds as a Go C shared plugin that can be loaded by OBS to actually start a web server and gather Prometheus metrics. So very cool. I need to refill on water. I'll be back in just a sec again. All right, we're back. So I've been kind of thinking, like, you know, people have mentioned like, oh, you should put music on during your breaks or something, and I actually haven't tried piping my desktop audio through this yet. Like, I've got the PC output source configured in OBS, but I've never actually tried it. So it'd be kind of funny if I put on like yakety sax during during breaks or something. Because right now I want to upload this to YouTube as well, and also, yeah, I've debated like doing music on stream too. But the thing is that it's kind of nice not doing it too, because that way viewers can select their own, perhaps. So I don't know. I'm going back and forth, but we'll probably do some stuff for breaks. I should probably figure out how to do that. I don't think it would be very hard. I just want to make sure I don't like blast everybody's eardrums by accident, you know. So I'll play with that. Sweet, we've got some pretty good coverage on this already. Listening to my own music right now, indeed. Yeah, that's kind of what I wondered too. So for example, Jordan had a pretty cool mix going on yesterday on his stream, which was actually pretty nice. Nice, like kind of ambient electronic, maybe, or a whole different variety of genres. But of course, you can't satisfy everybody. And since I'm not playing like a video game that has like its own music, I go back and forth, right? I guess there are ways. So for example, if I wanted to make it so that the Twitch stream has music, but the FFmpeg recording does not, I can do that. So for YouTube, it'd be fine. But for the time being, I think we'll stick with just doing nothing and then maybe music on breaks. But we'll see. Always happy to accept feedback from folks, but that is my current thought process in the matter. Yeah, Michael, if you can set up, I almost said FFmpeg. If you can set up OBS, we could do a squad stream. So we could like hop on a call with each other and then do a squad stream. You can see both of our editors and stuff. That would be pretty cool, actually. Twitch allows you to do streams with more people so everybody can like, view it in the same window. That would be really fun. So we should totally do that. I think we're probably at a point where we should commit. Oh, nice. Yeah, totally. It's awesome. Gamers will use it for spend some more time on my OBS setup. Cool. Yeah, gamers will use it if they're going to play like games together and stuff. So you can see your favorite streamers like do stuff. The only thing is that we would have to yeah, I don't know. The audio situation stuff might be a little bit tricky, and also OBS takes like exclusive control of your webcam, so I'm not totally sure how that would work. I think we'd probably have to have like each other's streams open in different windows or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think we're probably good to commit what we have so far. This seems like a pretty good start. The test coverage is pretty solid. Is there anything else we wanted to document, actually? Is this test driver thing really necessary? Like, well, I guess I use it in 2 places. So, and is there anything else we need to clean up? So the MIDI drivers need to be cleaned up, as well as the device handles, because the device handle owns these input and output MIDI streams. Can't think of anything else at the moment, but test device events round trip. Yeah, we'll name it that. Oh, we were in the middle of a sentence, weren't we? The test driver sends all inputs, outputs to the input device, so we can read what was sent by the go routine above. Oh, I already mentioned that. Build the expected sequence for comparison. Yeah, Michael, I'm happy to send my OBS scenes. I've actually got that all in a GitHub repo. I just have, some pretty basic stuff, but I've got things like, the intro and AFK and like a password entry thing. So if that would be helpful, I can do that too. Interesting. So probably easiest to do a video call and stream that for camera. Okay. Hellsec did an online conference and they used Zoom plus OBS plus Twitch for remote presenters. Okay. I can't wait for an RR-like debugger for Go where you can rerun multi-threaded things. Yeah, RR seems pretty cool. I've actually never used it myself, but I understand it's very awesome. I typed this comment like 10 minutes ago, but got distracted. Yeah, no problem. That's funny. I think RR and Delve work together. No? Did I make that up? Yeah, I'm not honestly sure. Interesting. Okay. Delve replay. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Oh yeah, no problem. So GT is great if you need a FOSS video conference tool. Missed half discussion. Okay, yeah. Still waiting for RR to work on Zen CPUs. Really, it doesn't. Is that because like it needs to capture like the CPU register state or something? A lot of D&D streamers use Zoom too, since the layout can be predicted. Huh. Okay. Nice. I will. Thank you for the link. I'm going to bookmark that as well. Yeah, we'll have to do like a squad stream at some point. It's one of the hardware counters or something. Okay, cool. It's kind of funny. Like I'm sitting here responding to like 3 different kind of threads of parallel conversation. So people who are not, I I'm doing my best to try and like repeat the chat and everything. I know I tend to talk quickly, so I apologize. Especially when I've had, you know, more coffee, but I kind of tend to fall all over my words when I'm like excited about something, you know. Why is the Go mod? Is there this new version of Go CMP, or weren't using it yet? Okay, sure. Yeah, let's commit what we have so far. So command demo main internal launchpad. And let's verify the diff really quick. So we're adding some new stuff. The API now returns nil, so we have to check devices on ourselves. Okay. Nil slice, nil error will be returned, right? Optimistic reset, right? Because the launchpad or the test driver doesn't support that. Launchpad test. Test we just wrote. Cool. Okay. Let's commit this. So internal launchpad. Wow. First pass of tests. Sweet. That is great. So it's been a while since we've run the demo, so let's show it just in case there are folks who have missed it. Do I have a... no, I don't have a scene. I should make a scene that has like a larger camera view as well as my terminal or something, but for the time being, we can run this. And I'll switch back to this view. So this is the demo application. So what you're seeing right now, I guess I can look over here. I've got like OBS previews in like various spots. So the demo application will just keep changing the colors in the launchpad, and if you press buttons, it will actually light up the buttons and such, and also turn off squares. It's really funny watching it on Twitch because it's like 5 seconds behind. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. So this is all pure Go. Well, actually, the MIDI portion is C Go. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff that we're building right now, kind of just the primitives so that we can make our flight deck a reality. So very cool. I should totally check out the new ones, the new launch pads. It would be fun to have like the RGB inputs and stuff. How expensive was the hardware? I think this Launchpad Mini, this is the Mark 1. I bought it in like 2015. I think it was like $70. They're actually pretty inexpensive. So let's check Amazon really quick. I apologize just in case bright tabs coming up. Okay. Oh, let's see. Launchpad Mini Amazon. I think the Mark 3 is a little more expensive, unfortunately. 109 Guitar Center. Price hidden. Great. I hate that. There's also the bigger launch pads, a little more expensive, as well as the Pro. They have several different models, but there were a couple of... somebody earlier linked some kind of other cheaper MIDI controller. The Launchpad was just the one I was familiar with because I have a friend who is a musician, and he introduced me to the device. But hang on a sec. Novation Launchpad. Launch Key Mini. This is a keyboard. That would be kind of funny if you could use like a keyboard. I mean, why not, right? Oh, it makes me think you could encode QR codes on it. Smallest QR is 21 by 21. Yeah, this is 9 by 9 at best, so that's sad. The buttons feel nice to press. I'll be honest, they're a little stiff. I think that this is meant just for like, like repeated use, so they're a little stiff, but they're certainly sturdy. I think that it's pretty good. It's also worth noting this has been sitting in in a drawer for like 5 years, so it's possible that the plastic has like I don't know. I'm not sure if like the plastic would like harden over time or something, but oh yeah, they don't feel bad. I think that the kind of one of the key things for this is going to be making sure that the application gives you feedback, so like it lights up the keys and such. Stiff is good. Worry about cheap. Rubber don't feel. No, these don't feel cheap at all. I've actually been pretty impressed with the build quality of this. Yeah, it's sturdy for sure. Usually plastic gets more brittle over time. Oh, here we go. So yeah, Launchpad Mini Mark 3. So this one has like the full LED screen. Yeah, let's look at the Mark 3. So I have the Mark 1, or what was just the original. Yeah. It's only $109. I should just buy this. Like, I just want to play with this, So with this one, as you can see, we can do different colors. So instead of just red and green and yellow and orange, essentially, we can do whites, we can do blues, we can do purples. It's pretty cool. I am curious if you could use these other buttons, things like the session, drums, etc. I'm curious if those light up. Because they do on my Mark 1, but perhaps not on these. Imagine instead of using it for audio samples, putting code samples on it. Yeah, I'm going to end up buying one of these. I mean, just so I can have multiple devices, and I think the full RGB would be kind of nice as well. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but only $109. Macros if error not equals nil. Yeah, we could totally have macros. We could do like key inputs. I wonder how that would work. So I've actually... Go back to this. I was thinking, like, if we make this a... like a systemd daemon, and we wanted to do things like be able to insert keystrokes, like how would that work? I have no idea, honestly. I suspect we're probably gonna have to do like some weird like dbus type stuff, but I think having macros would be useful, like, you know, error macros or stuff like that. I mean, I also have a Kinesis keyboard which has macros anyway, so like I don't need that as much, but why not? If it's useful for somebody, I'm happy to add it, you know. Oh, okay, so in X11 it's easy to fake key input, on Wayland not as easy. Okay, makes sense. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, considering the reason that stream works right now is because you can just read the X shared memory buffer and just capture all this. Oh, interesting. So the X-test extension is what you can use in X11. Cool. Okay. I wonder... Nice. I wonder if you could do this in Go. Probably with a bunch of C-Go stuff, I would imagine. But I'll bookmark that. Thank you. I think there's a package for it in Go. Nice. Okay. Yeah, the less stuff we have to write. You know, to be honest, like, I'm not a even native Go thanks to XKB. Nice. I'm not a competent, like, C programmer at all. Actually, hey, you are, right? You wrote i3. So, yeah, if you wanted to collaborate in some of this stuff, that would be super helpful for sure. That sort of thing is not at all my specialty. But, yeah, this could be pretty fun. I think really what I want to have here is, like, a nice collaborative atmosphere for this project. Stoffelberg wrote i3. Yes, Stoffelberg wrote i3. Yeah. I think Burnt Sushi had a package for lots of X things. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right about that. Guilty as charged. Yeah, we have the author of i3 in the stream right now. Pretty cool. You know, we had the creator of WireGuard. We have the author of i3. You know, this is a top tier programming stream, right? Yeah, I really should give i3 a try. The thing is with me is that I can never be bothered to learn all of the intricacies of a tiling window manager. So where are we at? I think I want to do like one more test for this. I want to do the raw listener and stuff like fill. Like I want to be able to verify the actual like MIDI bytes. So in order to do that, we're going to have to go at this from a slightly lower level API. So we could take essentially the same idea. Test device MIDI transfers, something like that. MIDI communication, MIDI IO. Test device MIDI commands. Sure. So now, instead of creating a channel of events, we're going to use the listen API, which is lower level. So we're going to, let's see here, device listen, right? So this is actually using the raw like CGO callback. We're going to be able to read whatever bytes are being sent on this, and we can verify. So this is probably going to be a table-driven test, like given a set of, yeah. So here's what I have in mind. Test device MIDI commands. So given a sequence of operations, so ops is a function which accepts a launchpad device. Given some set of operations performed on a device, we see the following MIDI outputs. Out is going to be a slice of byte slices, right? Because this means that we can actually run multiple commands and then verify that the MIDI streams produce exactly what we would expect. I think that's going to be a useful test. So I wasn't sure at first about this Go MIDI stuff. It seemed like it had a lot of very strange abstractions. It is worth noting there are things like a MIDI reader and writer, but that particular abstraction is not very useful for the Launchpad because the programmer's manual gives you raw bytes and they're all small structures. So I think that the porcelain I've created is sufficient. I usually just call this fn actually for just a function you apply to a thing. So given a function that does nothing, first of all, no up. I guess I can make it so that the function nil, nothing happens, right? Get a device, create a context, listen for events. This also returns an error, but this will block, right? Blocks until CTX is canceled, right? So return. Okay. And we're going to want to pass out all of the data. So there is this timestamp thing as well, but we don't actually care about that as far as I know. So this is going to be a channel of byte slices. So buff C. Make a channel of byte slices. And then for every byte input, we consume it. So we want the ability to capture those. We also want to perform operations. So within another Go routine, we will invoke our function. So ttfn given a device. So if ttfn not equals nil, then we invoke this. And finally, we will consume the byte slices and verify them. So var out is a slice of byte slices. So given a byte slice, given a byte slice coming from the channel, buff C. We also we're going to want to close that byte slice channel when listen is done. So defer close buff C. Right? Nope. Shoot. But when are we going to cancel the context? I don't know. I don't know yet. Let's keep going. So out equals append out with the contents of the byte slice. And then we can go ahead and just dump the output for now. Yep. Go watch test device MIDI commands. Hey, okay. Right, this is a duplicate. That's good. Line 159, missing return. Right. Nothing to do. No up. Yep, I think it's hung because I apologize. I'm gonna make trying to read stack traces with this font size is not really easy. So I'm gonna make the font slightly smaller for a sec, or normal size. Okay. Channel received line 139. Nope. 164. Yeah, so it's waiting here for events. We're not passing any events, so we need to figure out this context cancellation story, right? So what we want to do is whenever our function is done being invoked, we cancel. Imagine stack traces on NixOS Go root is so darn long. Yeah, that'd be rough, wouldn't it? I promise I will make this larger shortly. I just want to... Okay, there we go. So no commands, nothing happens. There we go. Yep. Cool. So given nothing, nothing happens. So that is what we'd expect. So light. So for each operation, we're going to verify what it would actually do. So we'll just light 5.5 launchpad red high for now. Should we? Yeah, I feel like we should probably pass in the... Well, we can't actually pass in the T because it's in a Go routine, isn't it? We're going to have to panic if anything goes wrong. So, do we have panic F in here yet? I don't think we do. Where is my... We don't. Okay. One of my favorite macros or key snippets. Make panic F. So, if we fail to apply lights, we want to panic F. Failed to light %v error. Okay. Missing new line. Missing comma. Yep. EOF. Yeah, so we need to wait until the device is ready before we issue any commands. So we need to know it's listening. So we can synchronize this slightly by having a channel in here that we close whenever we're ready to begin running commands. Could also like runtime.goscad, but that's kind of a hack too, right? So let's see. Channel of structs. And when we are ready to start listening, we will close ready C, and this will unblock. So I think roughly something like this. Yeah, there we go. Oh, data race. Fun. Once again, we're going to... Oh, is this not safe for concurrent use? Yeah, maybe the test driver isn't safe. Ah, shoot. Well, that's sad. Didn't we use it concurrently here? No, we just read from it. Oh, darn. Well, that stinks. So if the test driver isn't safe for concurrent use, we might need to make our own. Right? I mean... What can we do? Or I guess we could add locking inside the Launchpad client, right? Is the real thing safe for concurrent use? Yeah, as far as I can tell, the Launchpad seems to be totally fine for concurrent use. I assume that like the MIDI interface, like whatever is going on there, has some concurrency control. Let me think for a sec. We establish the listener. Well, so I have this wrapper here that uses the context support. Maybe I don't want this, right? I mean, maybe I want to return and just let this be triggered. And maybe I want this to return as well. So kind of like what we do in events, we spin up a go routine that stops listening. I think maybe we want the same kind of pattern. So instead of blocking here, we could unblock, which would make things a little easier on us. So for what it's worth, I suspect that events is probably what we're going to use in the flight deck software. But listen is the lower level primitive. So we return control to the caller and wait for CTX to be canceled. Yep. Seems like a reasonable thing to do, right? There is no event channel here. Yeah. Data race. Failed to light EOF. Fun. Data race. Okay. So now that we have that slightly modified API, we no longer need to invoke this concurrently because this will establish a callback and then return to us. So instead of doing this readiness check, we can get rid of that. You know, it's kind of funny. Like, I've written a lot of, Go concurrent programs, of course, but I still find myself, like, as far as, like, waiting for readiness between multiple Go routines and such, it can still be kind of tricky, right? So I feel like every time I do this, I kind of have to think about the problem all over again and just see what compromises I'm willing to make. But I guess that's software engineering, right? So I think we want to do this at the top level now. Consume. So this takes the context now, but it does absolutely nothing with it, right? No, it does. Okay, it needs it. Okay. So we still need to pass the context. Yep. Okay. So now, whenever the listening hook will always be established before we spin up the go routine. That we don't actually need a go routine anymore, do we? No, we just invoke the function. We'll get the callback, but then we need to consume it. Yeah, so I think we still need the go routine anyway. So var eg error group. We don't actually need an error group anymore because it doesn't return an error, but we can fix that in a sec. Again, I apologize for the font size. I will bump it back up. I promise. I just missing comma. Semicolon. Okay. Right. And now we're hung. Okay. 147. No, that's not. 173. Yes. Right. Cancel. And when we cancel, we want to close the close buff C. Still data erase. 322 right. The MIDI driver again. Yeah, shoot. Stop listening. It's a little annoying this isn't safe for concurrent use. I mean, I guess we could write our own. It's just, it would be a nuisance, right? I mean, how can we synchronize this? Suppose we could acquire a mutex internally. If anybody has any suggestions, I'm definitely happy to hear them. I think I'm probably going to end up having to add a mutex here. Probably we shouldn't assume that the device is safe for concurrent use. I mean, just because I can't observe races in my Go program doesn't mean perhaps there isn't a race with the C APIs and stuff, right? So maybe it is best to acquire a lock whenever you read or write from the device. So, sync. RW? No. We don't want RW because there can't be multiple readers. We have to do one at a time, right? Yeah, what's the very... Yeah, I'm sorry. You can't see the stack trace. Yeah, I'm sorry. The problem is I need to be able to read it. It is the test driver. So the MIDI test driver type is racing. So we need to synchronize access to the test driver, which is the inputs and outputs and such. So yeah, sorry, I forgot to bump the font size. I think we know what we're looking at now, so I can leave it like this for a while. But oh, let's see here. So whenever we manipulate the device, we want to make sure we acquire a lock. So anything that is writing to the device should acquire a lock. So dmu lock, defer, dmu unlock. So that is one place. All of these things are invoking this internal write. I do not return the number of bytes because I vote mutex it. Yeah, I think mutex is probably the right call here. Make it so that the caller, make it so that any underlying device implementation or driver implementation doesn't need to be concurrency safe because we are. So, and then whenever we manipulate the state, so this is gonna get kind of. So reset is going to acquire the lock itself, and then we need to acquire it again when we close the devices. Right? So you have a device, reset acquires the lock to write the command. This is one of those weird things where, like, we probably want to acquire the lock for the entire time of this reset close sequence, but the write call internally is well, here, let's do this. Let's we could have an internal version of these things that doesn't acquire the lock or something. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. So could you change write to be called write locked and then have every device public method have the lock unlock? Yeah, I think that's probably a good call. Because otherwise, like, we're gonna have certain methods that have to lock and unlock multiple times, which would be weird. So write be to launchpad write locked. it is assumed that the caller has acquired dmu before invoking write locked. Yep. So now, any instance of dwrite needs to become dwrite locked. Lock, defer, dmu, unlock. Or we could even add like a with lock helper or something, but caller must acquire dmu. So caller must, you mean the comment? So the caller must acquire dmu before invoking write locked. Can in out even change for the lifetime of the device? No, but we're manipulating the state of in and out, and that is the problem here, is because the test driver is not concurrency safe. So we need to kind of wallpaper over that. And again, I don't know if the C code underlying is concurrency safe, and the Go race detector just can't catch problems. So it is probably best that we implement our own locking anyway. So light would also acquire the lock. So fill now. Let's see here. So method d device light locked. So int color error. This is going to be verbose, but it probably is the correct way to do this, right? I mean, d light locked. XY color. Caller must acquire dmu. 80 characters. It's kind of funny. Some of the WireGuard folks were saying like, oh, 80 characters, what is this, 1980 or whatever? But the thing is for me is that 80 characters lets me have, multiple terminals across. So, and I think that lines of code tend to get, kind of sloppy when they're too wide anyway, right? So now this is calling light locked because we have already acquired the lock, or we will acquire the lock. For dmu unlock. Oh hey, thank you for the follow, Prophet LTU. So it was kind of funny. I was watching Jordan stream, and he's like got the follow notifications and stuff from Streamlabs, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should do that. So thank you all for the follows, subscriptions, etc. So thank you, Prophet. Thank you, edxnull. Let's see here. Letnem, Reman, thank you for the follows. Tauzatek, if you're still here. Nips for free, thank you for the follow. Sayuni. Yeah, a few folks. Thank you all so much for supporting the stream. I am here because I want to share knowledge and have a good time with you all, and I appreciate your support. So thank you very much. I will try to be good about keeping up with those. I should make some sort of alert though. That'd be good. Like something not too intrusive, but locking. Yep. Okay. I think we also want a reset locked. We're going to copy the comment from light locked. Yep. These comments are perhaps a little bit, verbose, but I'm picky about making sure my code has like adequate like documentation and such. It's important to me, So I know that not everybody believes in like following GoLint and etc. That's okay, But for my projects, I expect good, solid documentation and everything. That's a little long for one line. So, oh hey, can you explain to me please what Go is good for? What kind of stuff can you do with it? Really whatever you want. So I think one of the coolest things about Go is that you can write an HTTP server in like basically 0 lines. So or basically 0 lines. Basically like 5 lines. I can show you really quick even. So let's see. What do I have in my CD? I don't know what's in this file. One sec, we're gonna find out. Okay. Oh, it was actually a web server. So cool, perfect. How convenient. So basically, what you're looking at here is we are spinning up 2 HTTP servers on 2 different addresses, so v4 and v6. So if we go run main.go and I curl localhost 8080, we are talking to a web server in literally this few lines of Go. So Go is very good. Lots of people use it for building things like network services. You can use it for lots of use cases, really. But yeah, if you're interested, I would recommend checking out the Go tour. So tour.golang.org. I will drop a link to that. And the Go programming language book, which is gopl.io. So did I link that right? Yeah. Check out. Oh, it's not TLS. That's sad. Yeah, check out both of those. So Go is a great language. So today we are doing. I can show the project again, but one sec. Launchpad. No, flight deck. Command launchpad demo. Go is great for multi-platform. Yes. So Go code, like that, for example, that web server would run just fine on Windows, Mac, Linux, BSD. It's very cool. But today, what I'm working on is. Yeah, that's so weird that you can sometimes get like a phantom input. I've seen that a couple times, but I haven't tracked that down. So today we are writing code to interact with this Launchpad device using Go. So this is kind of the goal of today's stream. So check that out. All kinds of fancy stuff, and yeah. So you can do lots of fun things with Go. Why is my camera autofocusing? I thought I turned it off in OBS. Anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, check it out. I think Go is a great language. I think it's great for all kinds of problems. Internal launchpad. I think I'm going to refill in water one more time, and I'm going to stand up. My back's getting kind of sore from sitting here. We'll probably go for another maybe 90 minutes, until like 5 o'clock U.S. Eastern time. I think that'd probably be a good time. That'd be about a 4-hour stream, so I'll be back. Okay, we are back. When I see Go projects, it's always a few small file packages. Never saw a huge project with multiple namespaces and so on. Yeah, looks like folks are linking some projects, things like Docker, CockroachDB, Terraform, Kubernetes. Most of the container ecosystem is written in Go. Yeah, there are plenty of very large Go projects. So the one we're working on today is definitely small. This is a brand new project. But that being said, I personally have worked on Go applications that were at least 10,000 lines, and or basically built from the ground up, like at least 10,000 lines. At least 7 or 8 packages. It just depends. It scales pretty well to pretty large projects too. So did I forget to turn the AFK scene on just now? Like when I was gone? Anyway. I guess it's not that big of a deal. You probably just saw my closet, if anything. So, right, send on closed channels. Sweet. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. I think we have solved the data race, possibly. Nope, we have not. Nah, you did. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's one of those things where I've done this enough times now where I tend to not pay attention as much. So I'm not like so fretting about my OBS scenes or anything anymore. So. Okay. Yeah, we need to call reset locked in at least one place. And let's see here. Whenever we set a listener, we want to lock around that. So none of these functions will block anymore. They're going to return immediately, so we don't have to worry about starving callers. And actually, I think this is also interesting, right? But I want to acquire a lock around stop listening and such as well. So I don't actually like stacking up multiple defers. I know in my mind like they're just a stack, but that gets kind of confusing for me. So I actually do prefer the defer func instead, because that way it reads more logically, right? So we acquire the lock within the Go routine. No, we do not want to do that. Actually, we want to make sure we unlock, but we want to make sure that we lock only when we get the context. Yep. So once the context has been passed, we acquire the lock, stop listening, defer, return. We unlock the mutex, decrement the wait group, and we're good. Okay. Yep. So just I guess one more thing about Go. So like, of course, like, no language is perfect for everything. I think, for example, like, Go can be difficult in some situations where, for example, like GUI applications for a long time were difficult. I think folks have done a lot of really cool work, especially folks like Ilias Noir, working on his I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name very well. Working on his Geo UI is very cool. And also things like network namespaces can be kind of tricky in Go. You have to do a lot of work, but it's good for most things. Wouldn't write a game in Go nor a kernel module. Yeah, totally. I know folks have done games in Go, but kernel module, yeah, you can't. Janktron, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Oh, come on, OBS, why? The camera thing's driving me nuts. I told it not to autofocus anymore, and it still is anyway. So, anyway. I'll try not to move around too much, but I apologize. Anyway, at least the text is fine. So, tooling is pretty cool in Go, like the stack trace about right on closed channel on screen just now. Yeah, totally. It makes it a lot easier. Small indie games might define 2D in particular, but not the next Crisis. Yes, very true. So, indie games, things that are like 2D, or especially like, terminal games, it's great. Hey, Lifescape, thank you so much for the follow. What are you working on? So, well, we can run the demo one more time. It's fun, right? So, I am currently writing tests for a package that works with the Novation Launchpad. So I'm writing Go code to control this. It does things like light the LEDs, button presses can turn things on and off, etc. I am going to turn this into my own kind of DIY Elgato Stream Deck. So that's the project here. So having a pretty good time doing that. I should get a camera for this. I'll try and work on that. Oh, that's super tight. Yeah, totally. Right. I mean, like the thing is that I think it's going to be really fun. Single executable distribution is really easy and nice. Yeah, totally. Statically linked binaries. In this particular case, you're going to have. Unfortunately, I had to install libasound2 dev on Ubuntu. I suspect it'll be probably pretty similar on other platforms, but shouldn't be bad at all. But yeah, I'm really excited about this project. I got kind of inspired when I was looking at streaming equipment and realized, I could spend $150 on a Stream Deck, or I could do this. Oh, the autofocus doesn't quite follow the demo, but it's okay. Yeah, sorry. It's, I don't know. I'll see what I can do with my camera stuff. What is the most interesting thing I've learned so far on this project? Yeah, so just, I guess, figuring out how the Launchpad communicates over MIDI. So we're decoding, like, raw MIDI events and turning them into, like, Go structures. So it's been a lot of fun kind of building up a higher level API for this. I found the programmer's manual for this thing, and I'm just, using the Go MIDI package. So I've never done anything like this before. I've done very little work with hardware in general, so this is actually pretty entertaining. So I think it's just pretty cool being able to see in real life, like, pressing buttons and seeing things happen on the screen, seeing events be processed. We need the same deal here, so we also have to, one sec. I wonder if I could factor this snippet out, because this code is identical, right? Or very close. Uh-oh. Hey, no more data races. No. Send on closed channel. Okay, so now we've fixed the data races, but we're at the point where we have regular concurrency issues. I apologize. I'm going to make the text smaller so I can see the stacks. Right, so send on closed channel. Okay, that's what we'd expect. we need to work on the concurrency control and the tests. But we've solved the data races, which is great. So let's look at the coverage. Does this pass? No, it doesn't pass, right? Data races. Yeah, so I'm using like a synthetic MIDI test device, and it is not concurrency safe. So I just had to go through and add locking to lots of different... actually, I need to acquire the lock and close, too. I just had to go through and add locks to various points to make sure we don't trigger a data race. So Go has a race detector that will explode and provide a static trace very similar to this one if there is a race in your code. So you can verify your locks are appropriate, which is very nice. Reset locked. Yep. Okay, so send on closed channel. So we've solved the data race, but now we need to... Right. We got to figure out when to close the buffer channel. If we don't close it, then this will hang, right? Interesting things I'll read up on that. Yeah, totally. So basically, like if you have two different concurrent threads, like trying to write to the same data structure at the same time, you can get really inconsistent results. And Go has this super nice race detector that will tell you that there is a data race. So you have to apply a mutex in order to exclude other threads from manipulating the same variable at the same time. So you can have multiple writers, or multiple readers, excuse me, but you cannot have multiple writers concurrently. You have to gate access, so only one of them at a time can do that. So we just went through and added locking to the package, so this test will actually work. When do I want to close the... Yes, so check out the race detector blog is very helpful for sure. Yep, no events, so that's what I expect. So I have to close this channel at some point and figure out... Do I want like a wait group here? Like, do I want to verify that there's no callbacks in flight? No, I don't think that would work. So the problem is here is we need to figure out when we can close the channel of buffers, but the problem is that we might close it before this callback fires. So we need to figure out a way to gate this appropriately. I guess I could use a stop channel. Some kind of cancellation for the buffers, like a context. I'm trying to think if we can eliminate the channel. Like, I think that would be easier is if we could like invoke the test code within the closure, but yeah, I mean, I guess we could we make it so there's like a... We can make it so that we get signaled whenever the consume function fires. I mean... what do you mean by use a stop channel? I'm trying to understand. So I think what I want here is... Well, I guess I'm wondering if we can just like eliminate some of the concurrency, right? Like if we can... set buffc to nil after close and check if it's nil before writing. I think that's a racy operation though. I know that if you set a channel to nil, you can like turn off like select cases and such, but I don't know if you can reliably use that in this case. I'm actually not sure. What happens now? Oops. Nothing. It is blocking. Apologies. 147. Nope. 167. Yeah, it's blocking right here. Okay. So whenever we are done manipulating, whenever we're done running the function, we need to cancel. You know what I guess I could do is buffer up the commands, right? And then just consume them later. Never mind. Yeah, it's using a concurrent callback. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I mean, this is it's tricky. There's some concurrency going on here that's not super obvious, right? So I'm trying to see what I can do. But what happens if I do this? Shoot. 168. Apologies. Did I? Oh, out. Array of bytes. Same problem. Okay. 168, 147, 168. Yeah, buffer. So we want to. I guess we kind of want to like select here, right? I mean, instead of just trying to read from the channel in a loop like this, like we want to select. We guess we could do something like telling how many operations we expect to happen. I mean, for I = 0. No. What am I? I just want to buffer up all of the inputs and then check them later. So I want to write to the device, make sure the device has all that information, and then could I use atomics here? Like, could I use like an atomic counter and just keep checking? I don't know. It feels kind of gross. So we're listening for the callback. We consume it. We need some way of indicating that the callback actually fired, right? Writing to a nil channel blocks and you can detect it with select, but does it help? I don't think so, but what are we seeing? So we're still stuck. Maybe we don't want a channel here. Maybe we want like a locked buffer instead, and we just like verify it after. I mean, I guess let's try something, right? So let's try got out. This is going to be weird, but I think the thing is we don't actually know when the callback is going to be scheduled. So sync mutex. This is going to be a little weird for a sec here, but we'll see what happens. So lock I = 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. There's probably an easier way to do this. At the moment, I'm just kind of drawing a blank, honestly. 5 milliseconds. Sure. Let's just see what this spits out. Yep. So we could tell it how many operations we want to wait for. I mean, this works. Like we could say that we're gonna perform 3 writes or something, you know. Feels kind of sad, but I'm drawing a blank here. I'm having a hard time figuring out like what a better way to do this would be. Because the thing is with the channel approach is that we don't know when it's okay to close the channel because we don't know if all the callbacks have been fired or if there are still more that are going to be coming that are going to cause a panic. So this is kind of lame, but I think that we might want to, at least for the time being, right? So let's see, equals range, launch pad colors. Oops, color. Launch pad red low. Red medium, launch pad, red high. You know, some people like this inline slice thing in the range. I don't know if I really like that, to be honest. I feel like I'm gonna, I don't know. I feel like for me that just gets messy. But so if we do something like this, we can simulate, we're going to fire 3 operations. And then once we've seen 3 operations, we know we're done. So yeah, I don't love this, but the thing is this this API really requires this callback thing because the underlying MIDI APIs require that. Like I would prefer like maybe like a reader approach or something, but could you have something like ensure callbacks completed on the test device? So the test device comes from the MIDI package. Oh, do you mean could I track the state internally? So like on my device, I could say that given a, well, the problem is this would only apply to the test device, right? Like I don't really want to add in specific code for the test device unless I have to. But I could say, yeah, you wrote 3 times, so we would expect 3 reads or something, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's yeah, I mean this will work for now. I think this could be. Hey, if there are any viewers out there right now who are screaming at me, you know, think that they could do a lot better job, that'd be great. But yeah, I think for now this is a little unfortunate, but I think it's probably okay. I guess I'll just leave like a to do. According to the predefined value TT-ops. It would be nice to change this to a channel and remove the lock and retry mechanism. I think that's probably fair, right? I mean, realistically, this is just a unit test for like one thing. Like, if this were like actual code, if this were like, you know, running production code stuff, I'd be a lot more annoyed. Manipulate the device to trigger MIDI events. Keep consuming MIDI events. Keep checking for MIDI events. Keep checking for MIDI events until we receive the expected number as defined in the test table. Did not receive %d MIDI events. Oops. Finally, you can verify the output bytes. DT out against out. Unexpected, yeah, unexpected MIDI commands. Make this much bigger. Nope. Go away. Go test. Okay, there we go. So this is clearly not ideal. I wrote what I think is a pretty descriptive comment explaining why. But that being said, I think I'm okay leaving this as is for now because I don't want to spend like all day thinking about synchronization and stuff. I mean, this could be one of those things where I get off the stream and 10 minutes later realize like a much better solution, you know, or like I wake up tomorrow and look at this again. But for the time being, I'm not really having any really good ideas, I don't think. So something like this little loop and retry is probably okay. It's not going to take that long. I mean, 5 milliseconds at a time. This could probably be even lower, to be honest, but at most 50 milliseconds of delay. So it's fine. All right. So given those operations, we would expect an output byte slice of, I don't have those constants exported, do I? No, that's okay. I like testing packages against their exported APIs. Yes, we would expect note on. So what was the byte slice value? It was like 0x90. Yeah, so it was these exact values right here. So go away and go away. Oh man, getting kind of hungry already. So we have a really good, we've got a really good burger place here in town, and they recently reopened, which is great. But the problem is there's like literally a 90-minute wait like the entire day, and I don't want to go wait 90 minutes in line for a burger. But man, does it sound good right now. Oop, I'm such an American, aren't I? If you couldn't tell by the Midwest accent and etc. I think it's probably okay to copy the ones we need, right? And I think I'm going to have to coerce these to bytes instead of whatever the type is. I think they're actually bytes, but I think the Go is going to require an explicit conversion. Yeah. It's annoying. You would think that if the primitive type is byte, you know, this is a new type, which is also a byte, you would think it would just coerce, but it wants you to be explicit, which I guess is fine. In general, I appreciate this explicitness, but it gets annoying sometimes too, you know, right? Nice. We now have passing tests for a couple of operations. This is pretty sweet, huh? So I think probably a good thing to do would be to add tests for things like the fill command as well. Possibly, let's see here. So yeah, filling the LED. Yeah, we're gonna need 40 writes. So we can build a function that builds that up. We'll want to test resetting too. Where is reset? Yeah. So let's write a couple more cases for this, and then we'll commit this. I'm trying to think if there's any other operations I would want to use in flight deck immediately. I think that filling the pad, lighting individual buttons, and receiving events is a good place to start. There are fancy things you can do, but I don't know. And I think something we'll end up doing probably is, abstracting devices like this away. So you'll have like a grid controller interface where you can set and get like lights at given points on the pad. So for example, all the launchpad devices, other MIDI controllers, etc. And then we could make like a higher level UI that could do things like drawing text on those or drawing pictures, or making it so you could have like a kind of like a fader type of thing. I think those would all be pretty useful ideas, but those are going to be a much higher level than this. We're still working with the primitives, right? Like we're still doing the actual like MIDI programming for the pad. Yeah, so we got lighting. We'll want to do a fill, and we're going to want to do a reset as well. I guess we can add a reset case. Probably just a good idea. Reset. To reset. Oh, you know what I could do? I don't need this ops1. I can actually remove this and just do len of TT out. That'd be a lot easier. Or that'd be cleaner. So the expected value in len TT out. Right. Len TT out. Sweet. Always good to get rid of a value that can go out of sync quickly, So this is going to be a controller change and then 0, 0. So I need to copy that constant, which is B0. Right. And we're going to want 3 note on too, because that's what the fill command uses. So controller change 0, 0. TT ops undefined 227. Yep. As expected. Sweet. Test pass. We'll move reset up a little bit. I like to do kind of less complex test cases to more complex, kind of scaling the complexity as you go. Now we're going to need a test for filling LEDs. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to want to we're going to want to add a helper here, I think. So a function that given a color will give you the fill operation bytes. Color, launchpad, color, right? Fill bytes generates a byte, an expected byte sequence, which a launch pad would consume to fill the entire grid with one color. 40 iterations to fill the grid is the number specified in the programmer's reference. Yeah, this is fine. Const and equals 40. I like append better. It's just I feel like it's a little cleaner than indexing everything, right? 3 note on byte color and byte color. Okay. So for the fill op, we would expect. So fill is actually it's the fill bytes, and it's also going to be a single light operation as well, because that's what turns the device back into its regular mode instead of the filling mode. So if we do a launch pad green high, use different color, fill to fill. So we would expect the appended version of fill bytes for the color launch pad green high, appended with a single light operation. Set the device to its non-filling mode. Normal, non-filling mode. So if you don't do this, the device will not accept subsequent fill commands. Like, it will still be stuck in that filling mode. So you actually have to, in this case, we're sending a light with the same color. So it's effectively a no-op, but it resets the device's internal state. So we fill the origin with the same color. I'm pretty sure 00 is the origin, but I could be wrong. We'll find out in a sec here. Yep. I need a ... here, don't I? Maybe not, actually. I guess we'll find out. 198. Expected operand found. Huh? Append. Oh, do I need to specify the type? Yeah, I think I do. 199. So we're using append to generate an array of byte arrays. So we need to append a single one. Yeah, that's fine. Right? I guess I could just write instead of doing this nastiness really quick, this would be easier. This is probably a little tidier anyway. Right. Yep, there we go. Sweet. Single light operation is appended to reset the device to its normal non-filling mode. Right. Sweet. Yeah, sometimes you have to do like complex initialization of something like this. I like to do this little inline function that's invoked immediately. Just keeps things a little tidier, I think, right? I feel like we got pretty good coverage on this now, actually. Probably check for unrecognized message. Yeah, we should probably do something with that. I wonder if I got all the locking right. I mean, it seems like I did, at least according to the tests, but it's one of those things where you have to lock in so many different places that it's easy to make mistakes too. So I think the coverage is pretty good. Let's look at the lock situation one more time. So dmu. Okay. So close is going to acquire the mutex, reset the device while locked, close both the input and output, and then on defer we unlock. Yep, and we wait for any of the outstanding go routines, which are things like the channels, the channel filling go routines and like events and such. So this seems okay. We probably need to acquire it. Yeah, we need to acquire it for here as well. So here. So we acquire this. We add... Why are we adding 2 to the weight group? That doesn't seem right. Is this a copy-paste? I think this might be a copy-paste problem. That doesn't look right. Oh, I think I'm using the weight group for 2 purposes here. I think I'm making it so that any outstanding listen calls also have to... So you have to cancel the context before it will allow you to close the device. Right, so... Let's document that, because that tricked me, So... Takes it back the way it was. Increment the weight group to indicate that listen... this counts out of date. Listen... Until CTX is canceled, the context must be canceled when listen is null, when callbacks are no longer, when listening for messages is no longer necessary. Indicate that some state must be cleaned up to use this API safely. It's cleaned up via context cancellation to use this API safely. Yep. And then we actually increment the wait group for real here because we're actually spinning up a go routine. So I'm using the wait group to indicate that you need to, whenever you invoke listen or events, you have to take care of that as well. You have to make sure that you close it. Did I forget that? Yeah, I think I did. Wait a minute. That's not right. No, that's not right at all. So we don't actually need to do that because now this function no longer blocks. So I think this is a bit of like vestigial code. So we don't actually need to do this anymore because this function will start the listener and move on, but you still have to cancel context in order to get this go routine to stop. So it's still true, but we don't actually need to increment the wait group out here. Okay. This is no longer true. So we acquire the lock, we set the listener, we increment the wait group because we spin up a go routine. Within the context of this go routine, when the context is done, we acquire the lock, we stop listening, we remove the lock, we decrement the wait group. Okay. I think this is sane now. So for events, we have the callback and such. Yep, so we acquire the lock, we set the listener, release the lock, same deal. Add to the wait group whenever context is done. Lock is called, we stop listening, we close the events channel, we unlock, we're done. Yeah. Excuse me. Listening for events is no longer necessary. It's kind of funny the amount of work you put into like something relatively simple, right? Like I'm writing a package to interface with this device, but it's like I have to get this stuff right because it's going to make my life a lot easier or a lot harder when I actually go on to build the application itself, I think I probably should do a bit of like sketching and trying to figure out the kinds of APIs I'd want in flightdeck. But I think that for the very first pass, whenever I get the key light, we're definitely going to just wire something up on stream and get it working, But eventually we're going to need things like an entire configuration file. So given some grid with some geometry, I want these activities to be located here. I want this button to switch to the next menu. I want these menus defined. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, but a lot to get right. So I'll be counting on you all to give me feedback. I think a lot of the tricky locking stuff was around the listen and events APIs, because those are the ones that invoke like the CGO callback and such. The rest of this I feel pretty good about. I think that this has turned out pretty nice, you know. Test pass. I'm happy. Yeah, we don't want spew in our... Are we calling spew anywhere still? We don't want spew in our Go mod or anything. Tidy, right? Okay, new version of X errors. That's fine, I guess. Yeah. So... It's a little, I feel like it's a little awkward, but if you have the mutex lock after the defer, it looks kind of funny. And there are some cases where I actually have to do it. Like, so for example, down below when I have the CTX done, like in this case, I actually have to have the mutex locking down here because we don't want to lock the mutex before the context is canceled. But where possible, I like to do it at the very top of the function, so it's a lot more obvious. So this is a better pattern. And then we wait for the wait group because any outstanding context operations have to be canceled or else it won't let you close, which is good. I'm very picky about making sure you don't leak Go routines, channels, etc. You will use my API properly, damn it. Yeah, this is probably the same thing. I should move these up. Oops. Thanks again, Jordan, yesterday for reminding me to get the colored brackets thing. I missed this a lot. It's really nice just being able to see subtle differences. So you can tell, for example, like this slightly orange bracket lines up with this slightly orange bracket. Or like these lighter ones or the top level. Like, it's really nice. You know, it's something I had on... Did I have it on VS Code before? I had it on Vim at least at one point for sure. But I think I might have forgotten about it for a couple of years. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, totally. That's great. I know some folks don't like syntax highlighting. For me, syntax highlighting helps me work much more quickly. Like, I can't imagine not using it. But to each their own, you know? There's a reason we don't all use Vim or Emacs or whatever else too. Do we need to acquire the lock and the callback? No, I don't think we do. Because the callback is just... Everybody's still hanging in over there? Chat's been quiet for a few minutes. Everybody's probably chilling out, taking a nap, listening to me drone on about Go code. Needs more bookers. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, bookers is amazing. Are you... Wait a sec. Do I know you? That's very suspicious if you're mentioning bookers in my stream after me having a whiskey last night. So... Oh, very cool. Okay. Writing a blog post with your voice in the background. Nice. Cool. Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about Twitch, right, is that you can kind of tune in and out. Like, you can do other stuff. You don't have to pay full attention the entire time. Yeah, it's very, very suspicious. Needs more bookers. Very, very suspicious comment. I do like bookers a lot. It's really good. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this. I think we're probably in good shape to, yeah. One more time. Internal. Give this another review of the diff. Make sure there's nothing out of place. I did have the wait group ad there. That's so weird. Oh, I guess it was there, though, because the it would block until the context was canceled, so that's why. Oh, another streamer I enjoy, Soviet Womble, likes to explain how Twitch streamers are not a substitute for TV, but radio. People have it sizzling in the background instead of giving you your attention full time. Yeah, totally. That's a very good point. So like I have Twitch open pretty much all day when I'm at work, just watching like Mario Kaizo streamers and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's kind of funny. Like you can just kind of tune in and out. Like something really funny happens on stream and suddenly you're paying attention, or if I have some crazy moment. But yeah, Twitch is nice. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I do as a consumer, and streaming is pretty cool too. Like I can see why people enjoy doing this. actively ignores all the people who actually engage in chat. For them, it's TV, not radio. Yeah, I'll try not to ignore chat unless some really weird stuff is going on, or if somebody's asking questions but chat's got it covered, I'll let you all, do stuff. But sweet. Finish test coverage. All right, we are in good shape. It'd be kind of funny. I wish I had the key light here today so we could like integrate it with something, But there was one point where I had when my friends and I had a kegerator, I set it up so you could press the button on the launch pad to check in a beer on Untapped. But Untapped's API has a ridiculously low request limit, which is super annoying. So I never got very far with that sort of thing. But like 100 requests per hour, I feel like that's like horrific, Like give me 10,000 or something, But anyway. Sweet. I wonder if there's anything else in here I really care about looking at the manual again. So there are things like the duty cycle, so you could make the LEDs blink at different rates. We might want that eventually, but there is the flashing mode. I don't think I've incorporated that yet, but oh, yes, I do. So you have a beer collection in the back there. I was pretty sure it was when you started the stream. Yeah, totally. So I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Kalamazoo is where Bell's is headquartered, and this is my Bell's collection. So these are all Bell's bottles. And like I know empties are kind of like the hashtag college whatever decoration, but I've got some pretty cool stuff, So for example, Bell's Pumpkin Peach Ale. So this was a beer that Bell's brewed once. There were only, I think, 40 bottles of this, and it was released in the cafe so back when Anheuser-Busch did a campaign, like, let them have their pumpkin peach ales, like tons of breweries started doing this. So Larry Bell, the founder of Bell's, actually had a pumpkin growing on his roof or something, and he made this beer with that pumpkin. So there's only like 40 bottles of this. So for me, like this is a treasure, I don't want to get rid of this. So I've got some pretty cool stuff. And I'm definitely a whiskey guy too. The whiskey's in the closet. I don't want to. The closet's a mess because it has lots of other things in there like boxes and golf clubs and stuff like that. So I don't want to open up the closet on stream. But I've got a good amount of whiskey too for sure. But yeah, I enjoy my beer. I enjoy my spirits. It's fun, Fun hobbies. Lots of cool folks. I was thinking about maybe we can implement the LED flashing mode. I mean, now that we have a lot of the primitives in place and we've written tests, that won't take very long. So that could be kind of a cool thing to do. Refill the water. Oops. It's kind of funny. If anybody here watches Linus Tech Tips, I've got their water bottle. You can't really see this one, but yeah, lttstore.com. I think I wore a Linus shirt on stream last weekend too, but yeah, I like his channel. It's goofy, unbelievable. People actually buy those. Yeah, totally. It's actually a really nice water bottle. The only bad thing is I've dropped it a couple times, so the surface isn't quite flat anymore, but I've used a hammer to fix that. But it's actually a great water bottle. Nice. I'm very much into Belgian beers, and we have a nice pub that gets semi-weird ones. Okay, right on. Oh, 1 sec. I'm gonna close the door. Somebody's home. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. It's kind of a hassle carrying stuff in that's heavy. So it was big enough where I had to carry it with two hands. And we have a security door on the outside. We have our front door of our apartment, and then we have the porch door as well. So it was. I I had to carry it like this and then wait for my girlfriend, and it was an experience. So 2 hands. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out, Jordan. It was good seeing you here. So take care. Looking forward to catching you next stream as well. And Callous Fury, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Gasp, 2 hands. Yep, right. Well, the thing is, I was hoping to carry it with one so I could do keys and stuff, because we have 2 different keys, and it's just it's a mess, But are we at the point where we want to put this out into its own repo, this Launchpad thing? Probably. I mean, is it mature enough yet? Maybe we'll keep it in this repo for now, and then we can consider factoring it out once we make sure the APIs are right. Although I feel like we've got it pretty good. But I think we can add the LED blinking feature. I think that would be nice. Yeah, so. Oh, this is the double buffering thing. Yeah, we'll want to look into that too eventually, but LEDs flash on, off. Okay. Cool. So we can make it so that we add commands to turn on flashing and turn off flashing. And the way that it works, I believe, is the clear and copy bits set while addressing LEDs. Okay. So let's add an API for that. Flash on bool. Flash. Flash turns on the flashing mode for LEDs with the clear and copy bits set. Copy bits set as part of their color. Okay, seems good enough. Lock, debut, unlock. Oh, wind chimes. Oh, it's getting warm in here. The OBS oven. That's okay. We'll probably do, maybe a little less than half an hour. Wrap up around 4 hours again. I told myself today, like, oh, I don't really want to do a 4-hour stream, but you get excited, things work. So, cool. Okay. I don't think we actually need a separate method for this. Like, flashing is going to be totally external, so we don't need to flash locked. So what we want is, if it's on, we set a bit one way, and if it's off, we set a bit another way. So B colon equals, so on off colon equals, let's see here. Var on off. So to turn them off, it's 0x21, and if to turn them on off equals 0x20. So something like that. And then D writes locked. I like using the ... syntax in case we ever have to change things, although in this case we won't, because it's always 3 bytes. So I don't know. It's probably okay. Controller change 00 and on off. This is a byte. Right. So let's add this to the demo. So we also want to set the copy and clear bits, I think. So C or equals. Does Go support this? I'm pretty sure it does. Launchpad clear, launchpad copy. I'm pretty sure that works, right? And then we'll make it so that the LEDs flash when you press a button or something. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay. State color. Air D flash E on. So when you hold a button, the LEDs will flash, but you release they won't. That seems like the nicer option versus making the flash continuously. By the way, I think the flash, I'll check it, but I'm pretty sure the default flashing rate is fairly slow. I don't think there's going to be any concerns for like epileptic stuff, but I will give a warning before I put it on camera. I think it's pretty slow by default. You can make it really fast. It mentions in the manual you can, but we're not going to do that. To flash LEDs. Is that all it takes? Maybe? Where is... Oh, it's over here now. Okay. Launchpad demo. Go run main.go. I don't think that worked. No. Doesn't seem like it. Okay. What did I do? So, whenever we get an input, we are telling it to flash or not. So if it's on, it should enable flashing mode. So let's just do a quick log. Flash. Yep, flash true, flash false. Wonder if that's... Oh, interesting. It does appear to be working, actually. Okay. I think I misinterpreted the output, but... So, I'll show this really quick. So, it flashes at whatever rate I select. So... Wait, that's not right. No, it should flash at regular intervals. Okay, let's... Let me try one more thing. Well, I guess I can show you what it's doing right now. So, if I press a button here, the LEDs that would normally turn off will come back on. See? So I think that is somewhat the behavior we want, but I think that it might be conflicting with the filling modes or something. So let me see. How about we don't clear the other LEDs? Let's see what happens. Need to use the randomness source. Oops. Okay, yeah, I don't think this is working. I think that was a fluke. What am I missing? Where is the old manual? There we go. I had this working briefly for like a small little demo I was working on, but flashing LEDs. 0BH. Do you really need a certain color to make them flash? I thought it could flash any color. So 0BH is... Yeah, a sec. Weird. It's one less than... Okay. Maybe you can only flash certain colors? Maybe? Let's try... So we will fill the canvas with 0x0b. Yeah, we'll fill the canvas with that color. That should be the red that is capable of flashing. And we'll see what happens, right? Maybe only certain colors can be made to flash or something. Oh. Turn nil, sure. Doesn't seem quite right. Yeah, I'll see if I can get a camera setup worked out for this. So let's, if E on, maybe I'm disabling it. It's doing, excuse me, something funny, right? That doesn't seem to be working either. Yeah, see, because what I'm seeing now is just when I press the button, it goes away, which I think is what we'd expect, but we're not actually getting the flashing colors. Huh. I guess we need to look at the manual a little bit closer and see what the behavior is that we're seeing. Flash. Oh, double buffering. Flags equals, to make LED flash, I've configured 8. 0 if using double buffering. 12 for normal use. Okay. Do we need to account for this in our formula? So if we're setting the LEDs, maybe it doesn't work for the filling mode, but for setting the LEDs, let's see here. Plus red plus flags. Okay. Let's add. So if we had 8, will things flash here? Plus 8. Doesn't seem like it's gonna work, but maybe it's that simple. I don't know. I'm suspicious. Yeah, it looks like it's just now it looks like we got the offsets wrong or something. See, we messed up the offset math. So that's not, that doesn't seem to be what I would expect, at least. I might just have to mess with this a little bit. Oh, did I? Oh, I messed with the coordinates. Yeah, velocity. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong field. So the problem is here is that the color needs to have an addition. So I think we want color plus 12. So color plus equals 12. Or no, 12 for normal use, 8 for flashing. Okay. So now when we light the grid, yeah, I was accidentally modifying the coordinates, which is why things were wrong. I was looking at the note field instead of the velocity field in MIDI terminology. So we want the velocity to be modified plus 8. So, right. Anyway. That doesn't seem to be working either. Is it because of the color? Is this the is it this again? You need to apply the copy and clear bits, maybe? Let's find out. Nope, doesn't do anything either. Wow. That's a shame. I'm guessing there's something in here that I'm missing. Yeah, values for flashing LEDs are okay. Well, I mean, I guess we can just go back to the code that filled with I'm pretty sure I just tried this and it didn't work, but one sec. Nil 0x. Let's try green. 0x 38. Okay. I'm gonna take the manual off screen so I don't have to keep showing other stuff to you all. There we go. So this way we can see more code, because I can read the manual and I can report stuff. But yeah, I think this is working maybe. So see. So I think we're onto something here. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but when I hold the button, everything turns on, and when I release it, turns off. So, But I could have sworn I had something working that would flash them at regular intervals. The problem is of course, I didn't have that committed to Git because I was playing around. So, my mistake. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that we could... Any other options? There's also like test modes. So for example, you could like test the, you can turn on all the LEDs with like a yellow color to test things. Duty cycle. Rapid update. Got that. Got that. Oh, it's a turn on automatic flashing, which lets the launchpad use its own flashing speed. Send. We might be sending the wrong command. External timeline. Huh. Okay, I think I might have been looking at the wrong part. So, turn on flashing, we send 28. Okay. The problem is here is that I don't know how we would disable it without a reset, but we can at least, we'll ignore that for now. So we will, let's see here. So if we send 0x28, then, hey, it works. Okay. So really quick, I will show you all what this does. To be clear, it's blinking probably 2 to 3 times per second. I don't know. Frankly, I have no idea about epilepsy or anything, but just keep in mind, I am going to do a quick demo just for a couple of seconds to show you all what this does, and then I will take it away. So, yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1. And if I press a button, it does this. Cool. So that seems to be doing what we want, actually. So I think probably the next step is to figure out how to set the cycle so we can slow things down. I don't want a rapidly blinking button at some low frame rate. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The thing is, I frankly have no idea. But it says you can really crank up the speed, but it doesn't recommend doing it beyond a certain point. So we will not allow that. Cool. So let me see if this works with other colors. I was confused as to why those. Let's not modify the bits. Let's try this with the regular code. Yeah, it seems to work. It's changing colors and all the LEDs are flashing. Sweet. So I'm not sure what these copying clear bits are for yet. I think those are for the double buffering thing. But I wonder if I can make just certain ones flash or something. I don't know. Anyway, this needs to be to do investigate more. But for the time being, turns on the flashing mode for all LEDs. So I don't even know how you get out of this is the problem. Looks like there's might be. Let's try this. Let's try this. So instead of 21, we'll pass 28, and then the off code 20. So if on 28, if off 21x. But let's see what happens. So what I would expect now is that when I hold the button, the LEDs will flash, but then when I release the button, they will not flash anymore. So test it locally. Looks like, interesting. Looks like when you tell them to stop flashing, it turns off every LED. So this is going to require some more playing with, but yeah, I'll show you all one more time what this is doing. Again, be prepared to look away if need be. It's fairly slow, but here we go. So when I press the buttons, things will start flashing. Right now the display is totally hidden, but 3, 2, 1. So if I hold this, then the LEDs will flash, but if I let go, they go away. So yeah, we're going to have to play with this some more, but it seems like it might be working. So cool. All right. Something I think would be useful too, so something I've been thinking about for a couple of days, it would be nice if you could test this program without having an actual physical device. I think it would be nice to have a terminal UI that shows a grid, and you could have X's for where LEDs would be lit and such. So I think that something like that, a simulator, would be pretty useful for giving people a quick demo of their configurations and such without applying it to a real device. So that is probably something we'll look at as well. So I wonder. It seems like it's resetting everything when I run that command, so that's not quite what I want, but turn this mode off. I wonder if I can just disable flashing without having to blank the whole thing. Interesting. Keep the clear and copy bits set while addressing, so the application can be easily expanded to use flashing. Huh. Okay. Maybe that was the problem here. Maybe I need to C or equals launchpad copy. I'm not totally sure what this does yet. We're gonna find out. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it looks like what this does is the clear and copy bits will make it so that only the space you press flashes. So, for example, I'll show you all again. Oh, I just realized I haven't had my. Oops, sorry about that. I got distracted and forgot to change scenes back. Anyway, so I made a couple of code changes really quick. So what we have is the copy and clear bits are now set. So we will switch back to the full screen. I will show you all what this is doing. So this is only going to flash where I'm pressing now, so it should be less distracting, but just in case, 3, 2, 1. There we go. See? You'll notice that just that space is flashing now. So, but the repeated fills are interrupting it. So there's more to be done here. We'll figure it out, but cool. I think with that, we might write a test for this and then wrap it for the day. We're coming up on 4 hours-ish. That's usually a pretty good time. So to do document these values, but this enables flashing of only specific LEDs without these bits set. Right. Cool. So this automatic flashing at the launch pad's default speed. Turn flashing LEDs off. No magic numbers for us. Flash on. Cool. Yep. So we shouldn't have test coverage for this because we just added this. Cannot use type on off int. Oh, byte. Always bytes. Yep. Right. Let's close that. We'll get the test done really quick, and then we'll go ahead and call it. Okay, there we go. So the commands have changed now because we're inserting more bits. Yeah, color +8. Yeah. Okay, let me, before I have to go change test fixtures, let's see what happens. So this might just need some more work. Weird. Okay. It seems to still work. So I'll show you all once more. I forgot to change my scene back to the code again. This is gonna get pretty bad, isn't it? Nobody let me know. I guess we're okay. Anyway. So yeah. All right. No more of that today. I need to set like a reminder or something, or have a more obvious display. I've got the preview open in like 3 places. I'm just not paying attention. So my apologies. To do. Let's do a to do here. Investigate the flags field for properties such as flashing the LEDs. Yep. So now all the tests pass. Let's write a test for Flash, and we'll call it good for the day. Right? So. Okay, it looks like this, the middle command is always 0. That's fine. Oops, sorry. I should really get some monitor mounts. I've been meaning to for a long time. I just haven't, so my monitors are on my desk, which I guess is fine. I mean, my desk is pretty large. Excuse me. Flash. So we'll do flash on, flash off. Easy enough. I think in this case it's probably okay to inline it like that, but we're gonna have to document this more for sure. Yeah, this needs more research for sure, but did I copy those? I did. Okay. So first press is going to be flash on, flash on. Oh no, it's controller change flash on, right? So controller change flash on. Wow. Yep. And then flash off. Range. Yep. Right. All right, perfect. So it looks like the test passed. So with that, I think we are in good shape to wrap up the stream. All right, let's commit that code. I will consider moving this into a public repo. I guess I could, right? I mean, the only thing is we're going to have to keep re-vendoring new versions if we make changes, but that's probably fine. Probably fine. Probably. Those, hang on a sec. Those other constants don't have a type on them, but they are, oh, no, I have to cast, no, just the color. Huh. So if I remove byte here, does this still work? I can never figure out how like the constant like coercion stuff works. Okay, that works fine. Cool, okay. Right. Internal launchpad. First pass at flash method. And push. Okay, cool. So with that, I believe we are done with the stream today. So thank you all for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. I might stream again tomorrow same time. I think I probably will end up doing that, but I'll announce on Twitter either way tomorrow morning. So that would be 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern, most likely going to stream. Continue work on this project, probably maybe start the flight deck command, like the initial stuff, I guess, I don't know. Cool, let's see if anybody, is anybody streaming? Nope, okay, well I guess nobody programming to raid today. Taryn, you should go stream so I could raid you, but that's okay. So with that, I believe that we are all set. So, hey, thank you all very much. Have a nice day. Hope you all have a nice weekend and evening. So take care. See ya.